little too ghost huntery.
Getting a little too, yeah, I know. That's what we do.
Maybe it's a sea of rats. It's a sea of rats coming to attack Tim.
Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that too. Those rats. Listen, welcome to episode 67 of the Current Gen podcast. This is a big one, so buckle up. We got a lot of ground to cover. She said this is a big one, so buckle up. Okay. Anyway, okay.
She's got a really wide, roomy,
I would leave immediately. Smile. Whatever the scenario is, I'm out. All right. So anyway, welcome to the show. My name's Tim, here with Derek, Dan, and Jeff rejoining the show. It was funny when Jeff first got on our Skype call. He had the same background as the last time he was on, and it was from when Xbox and Bethesda's merger was finalized, and we kind of were starting to get some details out. They were making more official statements about it, and like it's really happening. And he had that up still. And of course, today, when we're recording this, earlier today was the Xbox Bethesda, their first official showcase together, which was interesting. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But thank you guys for joining. I know it's kind of late for you two on the East Coast, especially. And then
it's
Jeff
exciting
and I,
times, Tim.
in the middle of the country. It's not that late for us. So
exciting times, video games, announcements abound.
All the things. But listen, sometimes we'll stop and talk about family stuff or favorite burgers, whatever. We don't have time for that. We have a couple minutes to talk about a few things we're playing.
The fact that you introduced us is very generous.
I agree. Thank you for saying that.
Tim, you did forget.
We have no time.
You forgot one important thing, though. In 2 more episodes, it's episode 69.
That's true. It's countdown to 69.
69.
That's true.
You didn't have me on for that one. Or are you saying this one is that episode?
No, this is 67. So there's still time, Jeff. There's still time.
2 weeks.
But I want to talk real quick about my first impressions of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and if you guys have played it as well, I'm curious what you think. And then also the other big release from this week was the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, so the upgrades there as well as the DLC with Yuffie and some extra story stuff there. So for those of you who have played that, if you on the call, you can chime in on what you think of that. Let me talk real quick about Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I didn't get a chance to play it until Saturday, so that's yesterday for me. And listen, that game is beautiful. It is everything you expect a next-gen game to be. It's one of those things you start playing it and you're like, I don't think even a pro version of the previous consoles could have handled this outside of the whole like worlds loading thing. It's just so crisp. It's so beautiful. Like I know we argued and messed with each other about Kingdom Hearts 3 looking like a Pixar movie or not.
I was gonna throw that in there. Yeah. I was gonna ask if I have Jeff's permission to say it's Pixar-like. Do I have his permission?
You are allowed.
This game looks like legitimately a high-quality animated studio created the movie, except you get to control it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's so pretty.
I mean, so does Kingdom Hearts, but
Oh, okay. But the yeah, raise your standards. I love that. But listen, the gameplay is Ratchet & Clank. The silliness, the goofiness, kind of the storyline, the villain that's kind of over the top goofy. Nothing's really scary. Like it's all very Saturday morning cartoon Ratchet & Clank stuff. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It's exactly what the 2016 game was. It's just it's prettier, and there's some new gameplay elements like zipping around the environment while you're fighting, which, by the way, not super intuitive. Like you see these little blobs where you can hit L1 to then jump through that little warp and kind of essentially just warp around the combat area. But it doesn't readjust your aiming position, which makes sense. Like if I'm looking this way and I warp there, I'm still looking that way, but now my back's to all the enemies. So like if I'm trying to go on the other side of enemies and shoot them, I still have to take time to turn around.
I
so
think
it makes sense, but it hasn't been that helpful. As soon as I realized that, I use it 2 or 3 times.
Can you adjust that in the settings, maybe? Or
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it actually would make way more sense that when you're going through the portal, if you're coming out of it, it should be when you're coming out of it, you're looking straight ahead. Like, because if the portal on the other side is facing the enemies, then if you're coming out the other end, you should be facing the enemies. You know what I mean? I feel like that makes sense.
I think the idea is that you're entering this way, and then you're just kind of appearing in that same spot. So listen, I don't pretend to understand the physics involved with Ratchet and Clank's lore.
You don't understand portal physics?
But listen, the game is fun. It's like I got through the first boss, and I'm already controlling the new character Rivet. It's not that far into the game where you get to experience some of Ratchet and some of Rivet, and a lot of the upgrades will carry over. I don't think all of them do, but a lot of the upgrades carry over between characters. And listen, it's good, lighthearted, fun. It's a family-friendly, beautiful game.
Does Rivet do anything differently that makes her distinct, or
very little? Not
Okay.
at least that I can pick up on. The double jump's the same, movement's the same. Her hammer, as far as I can tell, other than maybe some environmental puzzle solving that I've yet to get to, the combat feels exactly the same as it did with
Okay.
Ratchet.
She's just a PC character. That's all it is.
Thank you for your interjection there.
Hey, no problem.
So it's overall fun. Any of you guys playing it? Thoughts on just
Yep.
generally how it looks and what you think?
Yeah, it's fun. Like you said, I echo everything you just said.
I played only like 20 minutes. I think it's fun, but like I think I said it in our chat, like I played the 2016 one all the way to the end, but I was playing it, I believe, with Eli. And now that my kids don't love me anymore, that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
So that means
That got
I would
dark.
have that means I would have to play this on my own, and that's probably not gonna happen. Like I would rather play Mass Effect. I would rather play
Preach.
Outriders.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
Go ahead and say preach
Don't
again,
preach.
Jeff.
Don't preach.
Because I'm
Stop
going to talk
preaching.
about Outriders. We're not even
No.
going to talk about
Good
E3.
God. Good God. We're
Outriders
not talking about Outriders.
has
It was nowhere
legit
on
jumped
E3.
back up to GOAT status. That's all I have to say. I am having so much fun back in it. Like Jesse White and I jumped back in. Well, he hadn't started it, and we jumped in, and I started playing it again, and I unlocked my first legendary. I started unlocking all these sweet weapons, and now I'm like addicted
And
to
you
the
lost them because the game crashed.
No.
Your enthusiasm for certain games is like a physical manifestation of mediocrity. It's just like swimming in sevens. Just that's what you do. Just that's and I appreciate
What was the
it.
one that just came out? What was the one that just came out that was a 7 game?
I mean,
It was like a week ago or something.
I don't know. I can't think of anything specific.
Biomutant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biomutant. Yeah. There you go.
That was
I think
definitely
it's
swimming in
because
sevens.
I think it's because like physically, mentally, and emotionally, I'm like a 9 or a 10, and so I like to come down in my entertainment like stuff to
It's great.
y'all's
This is
level.
perfect.
Y'all are like
especially
6 and 7s at
mentally.
That is
Absolutely.
the best defense of that.
It is. And it's also a great ad for our show. Listen to our show if you want mediocre recommendations from someone who's better than all of you. I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
Guys,
Yeah,
Godfall.
absolutely.
Godfall got an update.
Godfall's getting
That's all we care about.
Godfall's getting a
Godfall's
PS4.
getting not an update. It's getting like a D update or whatever.
A D grade or a
It's getting
D grade,
demoted.
Demoted.
It's getting demoted. All right. I want to hear about 7 Remake, Yuffie DLC. Listen, there's a lot we could say about Final Fantasy VII. I actually do plan on jumping in and playing this. I haven't yet. But is there a way you can give us a recap within like a minute or two? I just realized we're already getting close to 11 your time, so I do want to get moving.
We can do. I mean, we could do that on the next episode if you want. Because
We could, but I do want to
there's
get
a lot that
I,
goes
I
on.
haven't played it, and I want to play it. I bought it.
I want to
I
get your
can't find
initial
where to
reaction.
buy
I mean,
it at all. So it's super convoluted, by the way.
essentially, real quick, just to for anyone that's played it. So the part where Cloud falls down, after Reactor 5, I believe, when they explode Reactor 5 and he falls down through the church, meets Aerith. This DLC takes place during that. So obviously you don't know what's going on with everyone else because right at that point you're following Cloud, he's meeting Aerith, and then you're helping Aerith at that point. So it works in that case because obviously they could just fill in that sort of story with everyone else that's going back over at Sector 7 slums, which is the Yuffie DLC. That's where she ends up. She's at Sector 7 and the story's taking place at that moment. So that's why you're not seeing Cloud and so on and so forth. So it fits real nice and snug into the remake part 1. So you don't have to kind of be
I'm assuming it kind of sets the stage for you there. It shows you how you pick up with Yuffie's story. Like it kind of does a replay some of that stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like basically the game kind of just starts and she's there and she's just kind of being her like quirky, like sort of obnoxious, but like endearing self,
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're doing such a phenomenal job with like what you would think these characters would be like if like the original didn't exist. Like it's just like it just the personalities just definitely work with what the characters look like. But obviously, having played the originals, it's like you kind of have like in your mind like what they are, but they weren't voiced back in the day, obviously. So, kind of.
Can you tell me how to buy the damn game?
Well, the upgrade is free. The Yuffie DLC is $20.
So how do you get it though? Do you have to get the upgrade and then go buy it through the game?
Well, so
because I can't. I go to the store, the PlayStation store, and I search Intergrade or something, and it says unavailable.
So you have the PlayStation 4 version, right?
Yes.
And you have a PS5.
Yeah. So you just upgrade it, and then you go into the game and digital.
Yeah. So download. All right. So obviously have it downloaded.
Yeah.
When you go, you know how there's like that little circle with the 3 dots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, do you even have to do that? I don't think so.
It should just be in the game. You can log into the game. You can buy it through the game.
Oh, that's dumb.
Or through the game.
Spider-Man did that too. Spider-Man PS4 did that too. You had to like go into the game and be like, I want PS5.
That'll be the next gen leap. Is they'll have a smoother way to purchase more content. No graphical upgrades.
I know Tim wants to move forward, but the part I just want to say this real quick. I'm not even going to talk about my new laptop tonight, but the part that is really annoying about PlayStation right now is I had downloaded the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII, thinking that it would just like they were going to patch it and upgrade. Then I found out, no, they have an entirely separate PS5 version. That's fine. But in order to download that one, I was like, oh, I have to delete something. I'll just get rid of the PS4 version. So delete the PS4 version, download the PS5 version, download the PS5 version, find out that I need the PS4 version.
How do you?
To then upload my save so that I can download the save to my PS5.
Spider-Man was the same way.
The save,
like, you guys are so freaking stupid.
Yeah,
like
the
Sony,
save thing is stupid.
Suck it.
Well, that's not Sony's fault. I think that's Square. The way that Square is doing that.
Spider-Man did the same thing, man.
No, this is PlayStation. Whenever you boot up an Xbox game, they don't ask you to download the old version so you can move over saves. The saves just are there, and that's why this is Sony.
Dude, there's something with their online services. It's with the gamer tag or whatever they call it, the Sony PlayStation name. Yeah. It's the same thing. There's something with the way their online services work or were built or whatever it is that feels way more complex than other services.
They just refuse. They don't have cloud saves enable, right? Like Xbox does, where all of my saves from my One are carried over to my Series S.
Well, if you have PlayStation
cloud
Plus,
saves.
you can do cloud saving.
Yeah, but everything's manual.
I'm playing all these games all over again.
Yeah, everything's manual with Sony. Everything's automatic with Xbox.
Okay, so between generations, yes, Derek's right. Between generations, it's manual. If you were to do a PS5 to PS5, I believe that comes over in the cloud. I believe most games where you're
Evil 8.
Okay, so I believe most games where you're on a PS4 and you want that save to come over to your PS5, that's when you have to do the process. As far as I could tell, get the PS4 version, upload it, and then PS5 version. So
I had a quick thing to mention before we move on, and it's only because this is my first time playing any of the games. I am on Mass Effect 3 right now. I've beaten the first 2.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just freaking obsessed with these games, and I'm so upset that by the time we get to Game of the Year, and if I'm fortunate enough to be on the show again at that time,
we're gonna fire Daniel.
Okay, yeah, I'm not the one falling asleep here. I'm pulling my weight. Okay,
hey, I sat up purposely because I had the manager call me this week. We need to talk. We need to talk, Derek. So the number one thing he said is that he needs me to sit up straight, put a smile on my face.
Stop it. No, did he?
Yeah. He's sick of the negative Nancy bullshit.
Hold on. Why are you guys having a company meeting without me? This is bullshit. Like, what this is bullshit.
Tim was down to business. He said, we need to talk.
Yeah,
I'm just trying out all my reactions while I had
without Daniel here, who's, doing this and that, just trying real hard. I'm the new guy just trying to do the thing that, work real hard.
Well, he didn't want to include you because he knew I was going to immediately blame you for everything. So.
Fair enough.
Derek, I need you to stay awake. It's Daniel's fault. Shut up.
Okay.
All right, let's move forward, Tim. I know you're...
I just wanted to say that I'm incredibly disappointed that I can't talk about the game at Game of the Year because they're super old. They're just remasters. So, it doesn't qualify for anything that we do.
Mass Effect 3 was 2014, right? Something like that? 13?
Everybody's lips still moves really weird. They didn't fix any of that.
I think Mass Effect 2 was
but
like
it's
10 years ago.
Yeah,
10 or
2 was
11.
probably yeah.
We
Okay.
could do a best remastered category. Didn't we do
No,
that
we
on the
do.
last?
We do that.
We will.
But or you do that. I'm on it for that. But
Yeah, man.
I'm just it's like not enough time in the day, man.
All right,
for
listen. Before
finally
we do
catching up
anything,
with the series.
before we do anything else, Derek's retelling of that phone call was so inaccurate. Like it's
I mean, Tim, are you surprised?
not even close.
Tim, are you surprised?
I was checking in
He
with
called me and he said, "So what exactly do you do here?"
so not true. But I wish I had said that now because I like that a lot more than what we actually talked about. But
What do you do for the company? What is it that you do?
What exactly do you do here?
yeah, how are you still on the show? All right. Anyway, we do
It's
need
like
to keep.
The
Go
dude
ahead.
from Office Space, right? With the glasses, you like that dude. And they just
Oh,
try
yeah.
to find a different spot for him. They give him the stapler, you know?
I need to hire a third-party consultants to come in and be like, so what would you say you do here? I love those guys, Bob and Bob, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the best movies.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, let's move into and listen. I hope I captured most of the important news. If there's something that you saw announced over the last few days, let me know that I might have missed some things. I bolded the stuff in our notes that we're going through here that I want to make sure we talk about for the sake of time. If something jumps out at you that I didn't have bolded but you care about, feel free to highlight it. But we'll start right away with. It was before all the events. We talked about this last week, how EA announced they're going to reveal Battlefield 6. They're going to officially announce what it is and give us an idea of what the game's about. So they did that. It was just a cinematic trailer. And some people were really disappointed and real mad. I think, Dan, you might have not been real thrilled with it.
No.
To me, it was exactly what I expected. It's a multiplayer only entry, and it's not Battlefield 6, by the way. It's Battlefield 2042. I'm assuming down the line they'll make a Battlefield 6. So this is Battlefield 2042. It is, of course, set in that year. Things have not gone well in the world.
Didn't they have a Battlefield 1942?
Yeah.
They did. And 2142,
so
right?
this would be like the sequel.
That's exactly, yeah. I think it's right in line with that. And that's one of the more popular, at least over the years, it was one of the more popular, like ongoing.
But there's a 2142, isn't there? So this would be the prequel to that.
Oh, is there?
I think there's a 21. I swear there was a future one.
No.
If only we
think
had
you're
some
right.
kind of searching engine that could tell us that.
Ask Jeeves. Go ask
What?
Jeeves.
Go ask Jeeves, yeah.
What exactly do you
I'm
do?
going to go on
here,
Alta Vista.
Dan? What
Well,
exactly
see,
do you
I
do?
make
Vista.
the beautiful thumbnails, you jackass. So
Alta
The ones that
Vista, Bing, Yahoo, little Netscape navigator. All right, so Battlefield 2042 is coming out in October, and as of the reveal, we only knew what the cinematic trailer told us, but since then we've actually gotten a bunch of gameplay stuff, specifically I think it was the Xbox showcase that showed
Yeah,
that.
it was. Yes.
And so we did get to see a whole bunch of gameplay, and admittedly, even though my interest level in a multiplayer only game is not very high, admittedly it looks quite epic. Again, this is all like those vertical slices they can really craft to create the best case scenario in these chaotic multiplayer games. Even with that in mind, it was really cool looking, the way that everything's happening and the big storm and vehicles everywhere. And
that's the thing, Tim. Like, so for praise. I'll go ahead and just before we even obviously because we'll mention it, the Xbox presentation overall later. But like, I just want to praise that because that's how it should be. Like, say the game. Here's the game. If you want a little like CG intro trailer, that's fine, but show me the friggin' game. Like, why did they have a countdown days before leading to a CG opening trailer, and then at the end of that trailer it'd be like, in a couple more days you'll see it's like, what are you doing? Just show me the damn game. Like, I don't.
The only thing I can think of is that, for instance, like, we're not games media or anything, but we've got a show that's stacked with way too much information that we're gonna skip over stuff. Same thing there. I think this is just get out ahead of E3, do a little thing to be like, hey, by the way, we're gonna show you gameplay at E3, but we want to make sure we stand out. I think that's all it is.
I think that you're probably right, and that makes sense. I just think it's irritating. Like, just
it was pretty disappointing. It left me with a bad taste in my mouth because I wasn't excited about a PvP entry only, a solely PvP title.
You know,
wasn't excited at all.
I would agree with you
then
guys
Sunday
normally.
totally changed.
I would agree with y'all normally, but be honest. Has anybody liked a Battlefield campaign? Like really liked them?
Yeah.
So I find them to be extremely boring.
It's just for me. I want to see the game. I don't care about your the Michael Bay intro explosion CG trailer. I just want to see what the game looks like. Me if for first person me running around shooting whatever.
Yeah.
Just show me the game. That's what I want.
To answer your question, Derek, I have, but not to the degree that I would say I can't wait to buy the next $60 entry. So I have enjoyed.
That's what I'm saying.
Battlefield
I don't
5
think their
I love their
campaigns are god awful, but I can't get through them. I can finish a Call of Duty one, but I feel like Battlefields are always just not.
I really liked Battlefield 1. It
Yeah.
had a great way of telling multiple little stories, but you're
We
right.
did
I
the
wouldn't.
same thing with 5, but I just couldn't
Yeah.
get through any of them.
But you are correct. It's not like if I saw that they're doing a story campaign, I would be instant buy. It's more like, oh, cool, I'll probably try it at some point.
I mean, their bread and butter is multiplayer, clearly, and in this case, they're just focusing.
And I've said this about Call of Duty, and then we can move on. I just wish these first-person shooter games, if they're gonna make a campaign, stop doing the same thing over and over. Find something new to do, or do what you're doing here. And I understand you guys are to a certain extent are complaining about it. I understand, but to me, I would rather them either get rid of the campaign if they're just gonna redo the same crap they do over and over, and just focus on the multiplayer, which did look amazing, especially when they did show the gameplay. Or do something new, do something fresh. Create something. Call of Duty is slowly tapping into it by giving us choices and stuff like that. But I say go full not RPG, but RPG as far as choices and upgrading stuff like that, and maybe make the levels more open.
Maybe
let you decide what you're doing, and they're not doing that. They're
just make a Call of Duty game that's like the best Star Wars game ever made, and that's Dragon Age. Just make a Call of Duty.
We have to do this. I mean, do we have to do this?
No, we could do a Call of Duty game where they just create a Call of Duty single player experience. They could do that. They could release the multiplayer for $60 and then say for $60, here's a 20-hour RPG action first person shooter, Call of Duty game. Why not do that?
Yeah, I mean, I also don't mind the 6 to 8 hour single player campaign.
I think it's because of the multiplayer.
You're the problem with the industry. You're the problem with the industry.
Tim, what do
you do yourself?
True.
What exactly do you do?
He takes the notes. The industry what he does.
I make the industry work. That's what I do.
And really, I'm joking, but Tim was not that lame when he called me.
I like how he waits till a lot of people probably signed off.
They're like, wow, this guy's super aggressive and mean. What is his problem? Click. They just X off.
Yeah. All right. So after the Battlefield 6 reveals, when we started to get a series of showcase type events and shows, and it started with Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest Kickoff event. And I mean, he was appropriately hyped. And you know what? I think Jeff Keighley takes a lot of crap from a lot of people, and I do think he definitely has a fan base. I appreciate that he seems to really love video games. Now, he might be active. I don't think so. I think the dude loves the industry and he loves playing games. I think he loves learning about games. He's just like us. He gets pumped for the reveals, so it's easy to make fun of him, but because he's out there in the public eye, right? So it's easy to kind of point at things he does. But I just not necessarily a massive
never
fan,
had a problem with him.
Yeah, I found him to be very sincere. Same thing with Game Awards. He just has fun with what he's doing.
Dude, he's been around for since G4. He's been around for quite a while.
So he's not jaded and grizzly like a lot of the guys who have been around that long.
Yeah.
You listen to guys like what's the dude over at Giant
Sessler?
Bomb?
Well, this Sessler is a little.
And then there's what's the guy from GameSpot at Giant Bomb? Jeff.
Yeah. Gersh.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been a little bit bristly, but he's extra bristly these days. All right, let's move on. They kicked it off with the world premiere of the next game from Gearbox, which we actually saw a little more of during Gearbox's presentation, and that's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is coming sometime early 2022. I don't think we got a date for that. It is, of course, it's Gearbox's next big game. It clearly set in the overall universe of Borderlands because Tiny Tina is involved. and apparently some other character cameos and whatever might be connected to Borderlands as well. But they did say in the kind of like little side interview when Jeff was talking to one of the marketing folks or something, they said this is not
she's a voice actor.
It was
it was Ashley Birch. This wasn't marketing. This was Ashley Birch.
Yep.
He was talking to Ashley Birch, and she said this is not a quote unquote Borderlands game. That was the statement she used. And so I just think that means it's not continuing the Borderlands kind of sci-fi story. Instead, it's all taking place on what I can only assume is Tiny Tina's play set or tabletop game or whatever it is she's doing. I imagine this is like a game in her imagination. Like I could be. What'd you guys think of the reveal? Do you care about this game? What do you think?
I think it looks fun. I want to see them kind of take what they do and throw a medieval twist on it, because I'm all about that fantasy setting. So yeah, we'll see.
I put fantasy setting, then I added ish when I saw someone turn around with a gun.
Sure.
I was like,
sure.
Yeah.
So
well,
ish.
if you mix the gun, if you
it's
mix the
Borderlands
guns with magic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the magic aspect is interesting, you know.
Yeah.
That's all I think it is.
Yeah. They did say it's got that full. It seems to me like there's a whole RPG elements to it, lots of upgrades. Like it seems like they're trying to build a really full experience here. So that'll be interesting. Do we know if it's first person or third person? Do we know?
I'm gonna assume first, but
I think it was first.
I'm guessing first. Also, put my name in that first person camp.
One of those things where I don't think we saw them say here's gameplay, but some of the shots looked like it was probably gameplay, and that was a first person perspective cast in magic or something. So I'm with you there. Then they showed Metal Slug Tactics. I just highlight this one because I was a big fan of Into the Breach and Pathway. And Metal Slug's kind of classic night.
Move on. Hey, guys, we gotta hurry up and get through the show. Let's talk about Metal Slug.
Tim, keep going. Keep talking about Metal Slug.
Anyway, it's a turn-based strategy game that
Lookie's gonna cry.
looks pretty cool. Hang on, let me get my cry reaction. There we go.
Dude, the art is excellent in that game.
Yeah.
Excellent pixel art.
Yeah, if you like that, try out Into the Breacher Pathway. You know, one of the biggest waste of time during the show, I thought, and don't get me wrong, I admire the work he's done, was the Hideo Kojima interview.
Yeah.
And listen, I admire the work he's done, but they sat and talked about how has COVID changed your creative process? And I feel like he answered that question 4 different times. I don't know. It just didn't feel like I understand there was a translation in between that we didn't get to hear. I'm glad they trimmed that out, but it just didn't feel like a worthwhile interview.
You mentioned like 9/11 twice, which was weird. He just was like,
yeah, he did say that
like,
twice.
What?
Yeah, he was like talking about
it's kind of like after 9/11 the way we adjusted our work, and it's like.
But he said it like 2 times. I was like, all right, like okay, I think we're past it enough where you can talk about it. But it's like it's.
I wonder if the translator kept looking at Kojima like, oh, he's asking about 9/11. I don't know.
Is it he's asking about conspiracy theories? You know. The jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams or something?
He did give us one more thing, and that's always exciting to those of us who watch these shows, and that was they showed a trailer that immediately showed Norman Reedus from Death Stranding, and it announced a director's cut coming for PS5. It also had what I thought was a great Metal Gear Solid reference with the cardboard box when he dumped things out, and then kind of he tried to get in it at first. And anyway, it was pretty great.
Yeah, it was definitely a nod. It was a nod to Metal Gear.
So I liked it. I liked what they did there.
I'm excited to play that on. I never beat that game. I need to beat that, but I want to play it on PS5 though. It's going to look amazing on my TV.
It's going to look really nice.
Well, it's going to have DLC and new content, so there you go.
Yep.
More to play. Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Transfer over your save file though, because
you definitely can't. We know that for sure.
I accept that at this point.
Yeah. Oh, you just have to send your PS5 into Sony, and then they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Evolution 2 is coming out to PC, PS4, and 5, as well as Xbox. I just really liked the introduction by Jeff Goldblum. I thought he was really funny. He's so awkward but funny. I love that guy.
He has a soothing voice.
He does, yeah.
He has a soothing voice.
Yeah, I like him a lot. And then, of course, trailer didn't really show any gameplay, but it looks like it's going to be more of that.
Yeah, more of the first. Yeah, more of the first, exactly.
Yeah,
it's not
more
much else you can do with that.
Jurassic Park simulation building, whatever. It's just fun, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed that first one, but
I think it might be a little bit more like the new movie. I think it's going to be like more open because I think the new movie is going to be like dinosaurs and humans intermingling. Like things are a little more open. So
what is going on with that franchise? Okay, that sounds horrible, but all right.
Sometimes
it could
I
be
go
interesting.
back and just watch the first Spielberg one to remind myself of how
yeah,
good it was.
Well, I watched the first one and I still like the second one because there's some really great sequences in it.
If you think about it, Jeff, it's called Jurassic World, right? So, I mean, the first 2 were like still parks. Now it's just the world. Dinosaurs everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Jeff, I just want to challenge that real quick. There's a scene where like a 12-year-old girl does a gymnastics move to kick a velociraptor.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like
just kidding.
everything with the
I did like
tall
that
grass, the raptors in the tall grass, and
don't run into
I part
the
with the trailer over the cliff, and they're like,
that was such a dumb moment where she's like, "Let me kick it."
No, yeah, and that was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that after
so dumb.
when the dinosaurs go to the? No, I'm mixing it up.
I
thought that was like at the end of the movie.
It
was right after the long grass part. There's a couple other games that I'll just mention the titles of that were highlighted. If you're interested and want to go watch those, Sable, Lost Ark, Call of Duty Warzone, Ryan Reynolds' new movie Free Guy. They did a little bit with him, which looks like it could be funny. The roadmap for Among Us, which is still annoying. They labeled that as world premiere. Like, what are you doing with world premiere phrasing over there?
Yeah.
And then they had Shuhei Yoshida come out and talk about the role of indie games at Sony and things like that. So just moving through those kind of quickly because there was
just wanted to shout out Sable's going to be on Game Pass day one. That was one of the titles mentioned today.
That's right. We didn't know that till today, right?
Yeah.
That's right. But Shuhei did talk about the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary. It's called Salt and Sacrifice. And that's coming to PS4 and PS5 in 2022. Probably other consoles too, I would imagine. That was out on everything, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll probably come out there.
I never played it. I heard it was good though.
It's difficult. I mean, if you like,
I heard that too.
Yeah, it's difficult. It wasn't really my favorite thing, but yeah.
This one looks cool because it's got co-op.
Oh, it does? I didn't know that co-op.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Salt and Sacrifice does.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Solar Ash, they showed a new trailer for that. Yep. It is still listed as later in 2021. I still think this game looks pretty cool. I get kind of Pathless vibes from it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
It might not be anything like that, but there's just kind of the feeling I get.
Something about the style of it, yeah. It's the Hyper Light Drifter guys did this one.
Yeah. That's right.
Great.
Yeah, it's kind of like that game, but now in 3D, you know?
Like mixed with a little bit of Shadow Colossus also. You know?
Okay, I get
just
that
jumping
too.
up on giant monsters and kind of like hitting like weak points and stuff. Like, yeah.
I hope this one's good. They talked about it for a while. It's got a very indie game vibe to it, and it's been talked about forever. So
right up my alley.
Yep. I'm like, I hope it's good. A couple other games that I'll move through quickly. Chivalry 2 is out now. Valorant has some more content coming, and then they showed this game called Escape from Tarkov, which apparently is already out, maybe in early access or something.
I think it's early access. I've seen it on Steam for sure.
People have already talked about it a lot, and I guess
this the one that triggered all of games media.
Oh, did it? I don't know.
I'm not aware of this either.
Are you talking about the military shooter, Derek?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was this one or a different one.
That's something at Fallujah.
No, that's something Fallujah. Yeah, they mentioned Fallujah in it. I think.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Escape from Tarkov looks. I mean, it's just like a first-person. Shooter. So it looks like.
Yeah, but in Russia. Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm doing German, not Russian. I don't know.
How dare you?
Is Russian.
Triggered all 3 of our Russian listeners.
So is it just a multiplayer game, or does none of us know?
I think it's either co-op or. I think it's co-op or it could be PvP. I could be wrong though, because they were talking about a new area of the game. It is in early access if you want to go check it out. And then they're talking about how they're getting ready to release some new areas to the game. So I guess development's continuing on that one. They did premiere coming out in 2022 to all platforms. Essentially, is 2 Point Campus, kind of the follow-up to 2 Point Hospital.
This looks even more nutty than
very goofy, lighthearted management sim type of a game.
Definitely my type.
Smite is going to get Stranger Things content, which I thought looked pretty bad. Like, I like Stranger Things, but I just thought this looked pretty bad.
Stupid.
But whatever. It's a weird crossover.
World premiere.
World premiere.
They announced this new game publisher called Prime Matter, which I do kind of like that name for the publisher. And then they had, I think it was over 12 games in their lineup. I won't read through all the titles because most of them we've never heard of. But if you have, they're going to be publishing, I guess, other versions of Kingdom Come Deliverance and Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, King's Bounty coming out in August, which looks pretty interesting as a strategy game. But the 2 interesting announcements in that sizzle reel, and they mentioned it briefly, but kind of skipped right past it, was Payday 3 is coming out, and they're going to be publishing it. And a new Painkiller game, although there's no details on that yet, is in development, and they're publishing that as well. So
Cool.
thought that was worth highlighting. I hope Payday 3 is good, because the other games, I felt like the little that I did play them had potential. There's not quite there, you know?
A little rough around the edges.
Very.
Yeah.
But yeah. This next one's kind of cool. It actually gave me a little bit of Deathloop in space vibes, I guess you could say. It was a 4-player, except it's co-op, not versus. It was a 4-player co-op first-person shooter set in this huge space station where you get all these kind of zombie-like shadow enemies coming at you. And it's called the Anacrusis. Comes out this fall. It's another Game Pass Day 1 game. Yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Looks one of those like a horde mode type of a game. Right. Kind of 70s vibe a little bit. Derek, you can keep playing some Rocket League with your Fast 9 vehicles if you want to. Some of that Fast 9 content going.
Terrible.
Why are we still releasing these movies? Why?
Thank you.
Because it's all
I thought those movies would be up your alley because you like mediocre crap. So
it might be below mediocre at this point.
You know what's funny is Vin Diesel apparently recently said, like, it's time to wrap up these movies in 2024. So they're going to make at least one more.
Yeah, they plan to do 10. And the 10th one better go to space, or what's all this been for?
Right,
yeah.
Right.
I want him to have a car actually drive so far fast up a ramp it goes out into space, and then he fights aliens.
He's got to bring his family to space.
then he spin kicks an alien in the face.
Kicks an alien. He actually it's a whole thing where they're actually stealing alien spaceships.
Stupid.
I would watch that actually. Let's see. Tales. Oh, I jumped too far ahead. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. There's an alpha coming soon for that. I think that's a bit of a battle royale, but I'm not positive on that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of Masquerade stuff coming out, and some of it's in development hell. I don't really know what this one is.
Bloodlines 2 is the one everybody should be excited for. That's the RPG one. That's like first person or something like that.
Okay.
And, yeah, that one looks really good. This one's just like a shooter or something like that, I think. I don't know.
Well, we do have the third game in the Dark Pictures anthology coming. It's called House of Ashes. It's these U.S. and Iraqi soldiers that are stuck in this haunted temple, and it looks like they go deep underground at one point. It looks pretty freaky. Did any of you three play the other two Dark Pictures anthology games?
I played the first one, yeah, and I killed like one person mistakenly. Like, I think the button response time was just horrible, and because I was pressing the buttons right, you know, like you have to press the buttons to match your pulse, and I was doing it 100% right, Kay. And and one of my dudes just died. He ate it.
Why don't you write an article that they need to make an easy mode for that game for you?
Why would they? They just need to fix the button, whatever.
The game's broken.
These games are from software.
Which one was that one? That was
this was the one on the ship.
Row.
The first one I played, that was on the ship. I didn't play the second one yet.
And then there was Man of Medan, which we talked
about.
Man
of Medan is one I beat. Oh, Man of Medan is the one I beat. Yeah.
Man of Medan.
Something about hope. Something hope was the second one, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Little Hope, I think, is the second one.
I don't think a lot of people. I mean, maybe they played it, but I didn't hear a lot of talk about that one. I think people were more excited about the first one because of who made it, and then the first one was kind of okay. And so I think they lost a lot of steam.
I think they should have just stopped while they were ahead with that, doing this whole anthology thing, and just really kind of like made like a full.
Yeah.
You know...
All right, let's do an Until Dawn 2 for real. Like,
Yeah.
That's the one that people loved.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
We did see a new trailer for Tales of Arise, which we've known about that for a while, but I like this trailer. This game looks pretty cool.
This game looks fantastic, and it's coming out September, which is the month of my birth. So
September 10th.
Yep. Sweet.
I'll be honest though, I've tried several of the Tales games, and I've enjoyed what I've played, but I've never completed one.
So I liked Symphonia, which was the one on GameCube. So that was a long time ago. Yep. And every other one that I've tried after that, it just didn't click with me. Mm-hmm. I think I've mentioned before, I don't like the way the cutscenes are done, how it's like still images of the character. And then like if they're angry, the still image flips from them just standing there to being angry. So it's like, it just seems lazy to me. You know what I mean? Or they're just cutting corners. But in this one, it seems like there's actual like in-game cutscenes, and they're like actually conversing with, you know, whoever it is. So it looks like they're actually putting effort into this one, and I think it visually looks really nice. I think it's the nicest one visually that they've done. So I think there's a lot of potential with this one.
Derek, I know you've played some of the Tales games. Did you ever really get into it and finish any of them, or just kind of on the periphery like them?
Vesperia, I got pretty far in, but never beat it. And then the one that I really liked was the last one.
Vesperia?
Yeah.
Vesperia.
But that was like a darker one. That was where Tales was still like same type of gameplay, but you could tell their tone was changing. So I'm really hoping this new one's going to be a complete change from everything, which is what it looks like.
It does look like that, yeah. We didn't saw an actual world premiere of a trailer for this game called The Planet of Lana, which I do think looks cool, very indie-like, but it's got these amazing watercolor visuals. I just think it looks... And there's a lot of games I saw over the last few days where the visuals just made me go, holy crap, how are
There's one at the Xbox one that I still don't understand how they made it.
The Pixel one?
Yeah.
The Pixel,
dude, we'll talk about that one.
Oh my god, dude.
Yes.
Holy
crap. We'll get there. Planet of Lana comes out in 2022. Updates on Overwatch 2 as well as go ahead.
That's where I took a nap.
I mean, it was super short, but like, what was that? They're like, oh hey, here's like these super high res like animated renders of these two characters.
Guys, we're changing to a 5v5 format, and then here's a couple of renders of two of the characters.
What
new outfits.
Dude,
That's
why is Bethesda...
It felt like it was just a name drop. Like, hey, we got Overwatch here.
I feel like Blizzard for like the past few years has just been such a joke, and like they were like this prestige like developer for so long. It's like, what are they doing over there? What's going on? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Give me Blackthorn 2. All right, Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which is actually going to be on Game Pass. I didn't know that until this stream. But anyway, that game looks like another Diablo ripoff, but it could be fun. Gameplay with 4 players, I thought was kind of, even though it was cheesy the way
if it's on Game Pass, which they confirmed that today, is that right?
They confirmed it during both streams. Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, why not? I'll try that.
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
Why not? You know,
comes out on June 22nd, so it's pretty soon. New content for Paladins, new story trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 2, a performance by Weezer. There's a new song from them.
Jeff
I like Weezer, but
I listened to their new albums. They had 2 of them for this year, and I liked it more than I thought I would. But
I dig Weezer.
The second album isn't great.
Jeff Keighley loves Weezer. Apparently,
Weezer is trash, and anybody that likes them is a loser. Like, seriously, you guys are terrible.
I take it back. I like Creed. Derek's opinion's important.
Out of here.
Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but that snippet of what Derek just said, you can literally insert anywhere to anything that we've said.
Real quick flashback. The first time I ever heard of Weezer, I want to say it was some kind of pack-in with like Windows or something. They had some kind of music video that was on a CD. It was packed in with software or something. I can't remember what it was. Nice. But like it was their music video set like in a Happy Days set. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was the one album that was okay at best.
That was their best album. I agree with
Most of their music is okay at best for sure.
I agree.
They gave us an extended look at Endless Dungeon. They had a couple interviews with the folks from Insomniac about Ratchet and Clank. But then I really liked his chat with Giancarlo Esposito, mainly just because I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah. He seems like a cool dude.
He seems awesome. And he did ask him the question that I would totally ask him, that is, who's your favorite character? Oh, no, who would win in a fight between Moff Gideon, Gus Fring, or I forget the dictator's name in Far Cry 6. But he asked him who would win. And
Far Cry 6 guy,
He picked Moff Gideon that win that fight.
I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
I think it does too. And we talked about this before, but I'm now almost finished with the last season of Breaking Bad, and I'm so sad in season 5 that he's not there. But the effects of his character, of course, carry through all the rest of the story. Anyway, I freaking love that guy. Okay,
such an excellent show.
Yeah, it really is. New content for Fall Guys as well as Genshin Impact. By the way, Derek, it's Nier costumes coming to Fall Guys, so maybe try to get some upskirts of those.
I'm definitely doing upskirts.
Hold on,
because
I'll take.
They walk on like piers and stuff all the time, so that should be easy.
Oh,
great.
Man.
Yeah, should be great.
Derek, I'll take care of it. I actually play Fall Guys still, so I'll send you some pictures.
There you go. A new game developer called Deviation Games, and it's significant, I guess, because of the names that are there. Like the actual devs that are there come from Call of Duty and other similar backgrounds, making big budget games. and they've got some kind of special partnership with PlayStation. I don't know what that means. If it's totally
The
exclusive.
only thing I would add that I liked that they said, even though they were cheesy at some point, but is that they basically explain why they called themselves Deviations and that they're deviating from what they were basically under COD. They were controlled, and I like that they said that. So going back to what I said earlier, they were basically saying you are only allowed to do so much with Call of Duty. So now we're deviating, and now we have freedom. So hopefully they create something cool, and maybe it'll be a first-person shooter that is a little bit more open world with choices, but being a military one.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I like that too. So I am intrigued to see whatever it is that they unveil at some point. They said they've spent most of the last year building the team, so we won't hear anything from them for a while, I don't think. But
they'll go out of business before we hear anything.
I know. They said that I think their partnership with PlayStation was the hint, because they said they've been given money and time, and I think that's what it is. I think Sony has told them, take all the time you need, put it on our system only. That's probably what happened.
It's a mag sequel.
Oh my gosh. All right. They did a teaser for Back 4 Blood, which is just looking more and more fun. I don't know. It just looks like a blast. And they showed a new boss.
Yeah, the game's going to be so awesome.
That game's going to be fun. And there's a beta coming out for that. I forget when. I think you can go sign up
for it. It's on Game Pass, you piece of crap. Go play your little PlayStation.
That was another thing that we learned that today, right? That's coming to Game Pass. We didn't know that till today.
Yeah. Day one, I think.
Game Pass is the greatest thing for poor people.
Yeah. I think it's the greatest thing for everyone. That's coming out on
Zuckerberg heard this comment, and now you're banned forever.
Again.
Yeah.
Back 4 Blood is actually out on my 39th birthday, October 12th. So I'm excited for that one.
Not buying you a gift.
That's all right. Xbox got me covered.
I am your gift.
New trailer for this game called Tribes of
Own Me.
This game called Tribes of Midgard, which I think looks cool. Comes out July 27th.
Hey, no, looks kind of fun.
Looks okay.
I just kept going. This is Valheim. This is Valheim.
Dude, that's kind of why I'm interested.
But
yeah,
that's cool though. That
it looks a little bit. It looks a little bit more like very co-op centric and a little more like isometric action, whereas Valheim is much more. To me, it was much more survival. This looks more actiony, but who knows? And this is also, I believe, is this on Game Pass? I can't remember, but it is coming to Xbox, PC, as well as PlayStation system.
What isn't? Someday it'll come to Game Pass.
At this point, what is it?
Just Mario games and Sony exclusives.
You can get a PlayStation 5 on Game Pass at this point. You just get the console.
Dude, I was totally expecting during the Ubisoft thing for them to be like, by the way, Mario plus Rabbids 2 is coming to Game Pass. Like, I was expecting them to say that.
Yeah.
We got an extended look at Evil Dead the game, which comes out this year.
This looked way more involved than I expected.
It looks really fun.
I expected it to be kind of like a throwaway type of Dead by Daylight thing where it's like, okay, let's do matches and stuff.
How dare you?
That's a fun game, but I'm just saying it's kind of like, let's just do matches and stuff.
Which no one wants to play with me.
Which is fun. So. But Evil Dead, the game, looks like it looks more involved to me.
It does.
Judging from driving around in cars and stuff. And
it visually looks really good, too. Like, I actually thought the visuals were really nice.
Not bad.
Can we just talk about the world premiere that came out after that?
No. We can, let's move on. We don't have time. Let's move on to the next.
They closed. Let's go to Day of the Devs. Talk about indie games. No, they closed out the show with one of my favorite moments with Jeff Keighley, just because he got so excited. Like, he nerded out, like a lot of us nerd out when the right logo or music kicks in, and we're just sitting alone in our office or whatever, and we'll freak out. He kind of did that because you could tell he just couldn't wait for us all to see it, and I kind of loved that. But he was like, "Okay, it's time," and so he could barely breathe. He was so excited, and they unveiled a premiere trailer for Elden Ring. We actually got a bunch of visuals on what it's going to look like. I don't think we saw any gameplay, although some of those shots you could maybe argue looked like
most of that was gameplay. Most of that was gameplay.
Oh, what am I picturing then? I'm picturing a different trailer then, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like there was the parts where he was fighting like bosses and stuff. Like
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right,
I mean, that screenshot that Derek has right there, that's definitely gameplay. Like,
oh yeah, they and I think they actually, in the days that followed, have they shown more, or was it just that one trailer?
It was just that one, yeah.
That is coming to PC, PS4, 5, and both generations of Xbox consoles as well on January 21st of this coming year. Of course, it had some, my notes said, some British girl narrating some nonsense. I stand by that. I thought the monster design was just amazing.
Dude.
So good. and a few shots. Oh, I guess I forgot about this. It did look like clearly gameplay, both traversal with some mounts you can ride, and the way you can like shoot up the side of cliffs and stuff.
First time Souls-like game has mounts, so that's cool. And the part where it shot up that was crazy. Cool.
Yeah, my first thought was looks like Lord of the Rings and Dark Souls had a baby, because it kind of had vibes of both of those. Like I was getting Shadow of War and Dark Souls vibes mixed together a little bit. What do you guys think about this? I thought it looked cool, but maybe I'm not as hyped as some.
The first time I watched it, I was like, okay, like this is just Dark Souls. And I was a little disappointed because even though I knew who was making it.
It sounds like you made a turnaround though.
I wanted, yeah, I did. I wanted like, I don't know, I wanted them to deviate a little bit, right? And I felt like this legit, like if you didn't know it was set in the Lord of the Rings, like, whatever it's called, set in their setting, you would just think this is just another Dark Souls game. It's not that different. But then when I watched like a breakdown video and they started breaking down everything, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now. So it's definitely probably my game of the show.
Yeah,
it's definitely a game of that show.
Yeah,
it might even be the game of all of E3 so far.
There were enough things I think in there if you kind of like watch it a couple of times that definitely like look new and unique to their style of game. Like again, the mounts is unique. There was like some charge up attacks. Like there was one where like the sword got like all glowy and like kind of like a beam of light shot up from it, kind of stuff like that. Like that was a little more heavy on the action as opposed to like kind of like the strategy stuff that they do.
I don't know. I'm kind of with Derek's first impression of this game, which was correct.
Dark Souls.
Is that it's basically just Dark Souls, and
it's Dark Souls.
The art style just resembles everything they've done before to me. I know there's differences because it's a different setting, but it's their art style in that setting. And I don't know. Me and goth games just don't do well together. Apparently.
I don't think it
because it's like a gothic setting.
Well, like
you're right.
the Dark Souls games are more dark fantasy. This didn't look totally dark fantasy to me.
That's why I said Lord of the Rings meets Dark Souls. Like I got vibes of both, honestly.
Also, I can't get excited for a game I know I'll never be able to beat. So
that's fair, actually.
Unless there's an easy mode,
If there is, sure, I'll be on board with that. But I doubt I don't think they're going to change their strategy for one.
But that's the thing. Here's the thing that is good about this game. Like, legit makes it a little bit more accessible for everybody. Is they've already confirmed it has co-op, whereas Sekiro had no co-op.
Ooh, I'll do co-op with somebody and watch them die.
This is up to 4 players.
Yeah, you guys go in first.
Oh,
no, you guys
players?
go. I'm just gonna, change my weapon.
I just gotta collect some of these plants out here for.
Were any of the Soul games 4 players, or was it always just 2?
No, I played the first Dark Souls remaster, and I think there was like 2 people that joined me at one point.
Okay. I never did co-op in any of the Souls games, so I wasn't sure.
Does it seem a little weird to you guys that it's coming to previous gen consoles too, or you expected that?
I mean, that seems pretty common right now, so.
It does right now, but I don't know where
money.
it's be in 2022, and
they just want the money, man.
Until we're people to secure. If it were easier to secure consoles, it would be a big deal.
Yes, even now, let's say PS5s were on the shelf, Xbox Series X were on the shelf. They're still going to release these things on PS4 and Xbox One.
More years of that, you think?
Until it switches over from more people have, not more people, but a good amount, like maybe half the amount that own PS4s now have PS5s and stuff like that. That's when you'll see the switch. But right now,
I'm guessing they look at their numbers, right? Like how many PS4 versus PS5 sales did we have? And until those numbers really start to bank towards the next gen, I guess that makes sense.
What we really need is more, and like I'm not a Ratchet and Clank fan, but we need more games like Ratchet and Clank that are like, hey, you can't release this on an old console. They're going to be exclusive, and then they need more of them because that's what's going to help sell people. Because even though we get excited about, like, hey, nobody can get a PS5, that is true. But there's still a lot of people out there that have PS4s that are not even trying to get a PS5. So until those people see a price drop and stuff like that, that's why we need more and more games to try to push them to go, hey, there's like 15 games that aren't coming out on my PS4 and my Xbox One that I want to play, and we don't have that right now, and we're not going to have it for at least 2 or 3 years.
We believe in generations.
Was it fair to say that was the longest conference of the?
I just have a question.
I don't know if it was.
Xbox. Good God, look at that summary.
Yeah.
Since Phil Spencer apparently is a liar to Fab, does Fab yell about the PlayStation cool guy lying about generations? I don't think so. So move on.
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
I will once I'm not blocked, which I'm sure he's going to block me again.
Following the kickoff event, they had this thing called Day of the Devs. It's been around for a little while. They've done this before where they actually have developers introducing smaller developers' games, which is kind of a cool thing where you have people promoting each other's work. You had some guys from Double Fine and 8-Bit and a few other guys were introducing other people's games. A lot of them, in my opinion, could be interesting but aren't really worth highlighting. But I wanted to highlight a couple just because they look really interesting. Phantom Abyss is this one I've seen people talk about before. It's this first person. It kind of reminds me of Ghost Runner in terms of no combat really. It's mostly just about running, jumping, wall running, trying to make it through all these obstacles as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. And you see these ghosts of other players that have also done that run. But once it's all procedurally generated temples you're trying to get through. Once you beat it, you're the only person who's ever beat that temple. Your name is stamped on it. No one can try it anymore. And then it's kind of this thing where it's first person to beat it kind of gets their name etched in stone or whatever. So it's kind of an interesting concept there. And some of the acrobatics look interesting, and it's all first person. Yeah. So I thought it was a cool idea.
One of the most stressful trailers I ever watched. It was like
yeah, it was pretty stressful.
It's like this close to like spikes in the floor, like lowering and raising, and you have to run right through it. Yep. Like, oh my God.
That'll be on Steam Early Access this month. I think the reason that it's already gotten some buzz is because people are streaming it, people who are in maybe alpha or something like that. But it's coming out on Early Access later this month. Vocabulantis, really weird name, but the stop motion visuals, they actually announced this game last year, so some of you probably already heard of this before, but it's the first time I had heard about this game, and it just looks unreal. I still don't understand how you can program something to actually look like a real kind of puppet doll in a real life setting and control it moving back and forth on the screen. Like it blows my mind.
Is that the one that it's like claymation looking?
Yeah, it's all stop motion. It's all stop motion visuals.
You see this claymation?
Actually, in that Day of the Devs thing, they had the guy kind of show his. They showed his set where he was taking the photo and how he does the lighting to get all the different angles on every position. Wow. It was just.
I'm looking at the. This looks like sad indie movie stuff. Like it looks like it would be like a French sad indie movie that gets nominated for best animated feature.
It looks like something Ben White would make.
Yeah. A little bit. It's claymation.
The other one I wanted to highlight is called Death's Door. This is I think this is a Devolver game. It's the folks who made Titan Souls, which this is back when Derek and I first started doing the podcast. I talked about that game. That game is so difficult. It's kind of a sort of a 32-bit Dark Souls type of a game where you mainly just have big bosses to fight, and they're insanely difficult. That game took me forever to finish. But in this one, you're a crow, kind of in this world. This looks like nothing really dies properly anymore.
That looks sick.
You got this red sword, and it looks really violent and dark and interesting, and I think it looks cool.
Yeah. That one looked really cool. I liked the vibes of that one. I do want to shout out Unbeatable. I know we skipped over, but like anime rhythm game with like some pretty fun music, but it's like it almost looks like a fighting game, but it's a rhythm game, and like the art is just like fantastic.
The art was amazing.
Yeah, that looks cool. So
agreed. And there were a whole bunch of other ones too. So if those games, if that blows your hair back, go check out Day of the Devs. I checked out a little bit of the IGN Expo event, which was the next day, and I didn't really see much here. Maybe I missed something.
Greg Miller was there, so we can just skip over this because Greg Miller can go suck a bag of dicks. So
they
that out there.
They announced what I thought was the sequel to World War Z, and I don't know if you guys have played World War Z. It's kind of it's kind of a surprisingly fun game for what it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be garbage.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It looked like trash when I was seeing trailers and stuff. And then I played it and I was like, this is actually fun. Let's do all the levels real quick. Like, it's just, you just want to keep playing it.
So I thought that Aftermath was the sequel, but it's not. It's just an enhanced version that's coming to next-gen consoles. So that's coming That's coming out soon. Bramble the Mountain King kind of gave me Brothers vibes. And a lot of the reason for that is because you are actually two siblings that are sneaking out of the house and then stumble into this world called Bramble. Yeah. Really creepy, kind of nightmarish, but cool, like really interesting. So I got kind of Brothers vibes from that. I hope that one's good. Survival Machine looks like a lot of fun. Basically, you are on this moving town trying to survive this apocalypse. You know, there's zombies everywhere, and so you have to jump off of your giant kind of war machine town that you're building and upgrading to go collect, wood and other, resources, and also fight off zombie hordes and then get back on and keep on rolling. So that one's just kind of an interesting concept.
Is it a moving town?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you're like in this giant machine that's moving. There's another one kind of like it that was on Day of the Devs called The Wandering Village, but it's not zombie related. That's where you are building a village on top of the back of this giant beast.
Yeah. Yep. I saw that
one. Which was also kind of interesting. And that's pretty much it from IGN. Oh, Derek, Mortal Shell has some DLC coming called The Virtuous Cycle. So
yeah, I'm just watching the trailer. I didn't even know because I actually didn't see any of these announcements.
Yeah, I didn't see the little, like the ones that aren't the big devs, like one of the big 5 or 6 that we normally tune into.
I want to give Mortal Shell a try. I just haven't gotten around to it, but it looks like
I know we give Derek a hard time about his swimming in sevens, but that one is a pretty solid game.
Yeah,
from what I played. Ubisoft Forward, which I know a lot of people didn't like. I thought it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It was fine.
I don't think it
just okay.
I don't think it was amazing, but I don't think it was pure garbage because they announced 2 games at the end that I'm interested in.
They would have gotten the extra points if Nintendo didn't spoil one of them a few hours beforehand. But
I didn't even notice it though. I was busy. So I didn't even notice that. So for me personally, and I'm sure for others who didn't keep up with the
you know what? Looking over this lineup, I'm gonna change my opinion. I think this is actually not a good one.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oops, I forgot that I was so let down by Rainbow Six.
Let's go through it real quick.
Yeah.
Watchdogs Legion Bloodline is going to be a DLC story expansion where you get to play as Aiden, and also Wrench, I believe, from Watchdogs 2 makes an appearance as well.
Oh, that's fun. They were talking about in advance before they even released the game. They're like, "Don't worry, you're going to play as Aiden."
Yeah. So that's coming out in July. I think my time with that game has come and gone. It was fine. I had a good time with it. But I don't think that's the problem with these really interesting DLC packs they put out for games is it is a challenge to go back into a game that I have put down a long time ago. It's just
that's my big thing with Outer Worlds, which was my favorite game of that year.
Yeah.
And DLC released so much later that I'm like, okay, I got to remember how I played this.
How does inventory work again?
Great. Yeah, the DLC's great and everything. I played through at least one of them. I didn't do the murder mystery.
I'm actually I just started it today, Assassin's Creed's Druids.
Okay. I want to play that. Yeah. How is it?
Yeah, well, and I was trying to tell you it's just $6 on PC to have a month subscription. So that's why I did it.
All right, I might have to.
So anyways, I mean, I can't really comment on it because I haven't even gotten to Ireland. I'm in the first mission that you have to do before I'm guessing I go to Ireland. But I'm excited that I have it downloaded on my new RTX 3070 laptop.
Nice.
Sweet laptop. Which is
Slug.
It is.
Yeah, which is the one you're using right now.
Nice plug. Yeah, 4K OLED screen.
Wow.
Must be nice.
Since you mentioned
rich white people own it.
Jeez.
Since you mentioned Assassin's Creed Valhalla, might as well mention that they did show some gameplay, some footage of the Siege of Paris, which I still think sounds intriguing. So, and they are going to do the Discovery Tour. Listen, say what you want about those games. The Origins, Odyssey, and now Valhalla all doing this Discovery Tour is actually quite interesting. Like, you get to go and experience and learn about history, and they kind of take you out of the Assassin's Creed lore and game of it and just let you go learn about that time, and you can explore and see things.
That's cool.
And this time, they've done that for each of those previous 2 games too. And this time they're actually allowing you to experience some quasi missions where you can experience major moments in history as certain real life people. So you're not really playing as your Assassin's Creed war chief. It's history based. You're just learning. So anyway, so that comes out this fall.
They also DLC well into 2022.
Yeah, they did. They made a big deal. They really said that. we've never done this before, but we're going to keep supporting it with more expansions, more content into its second year, so in 2022.
So we're not going to get a new Assassin's Creed probably till 2023 then.
I agree.
Unless if that next one, if that's the case, then that next one's going to be somehow even bigger than this one, and that just sounds like, I don't know. It gives me a headache just thinking about it.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. So let's go back up here. Rainbow Six Extraction, I thought looked pretty interesting. Not amazing, but it's a co-op approach to the Rainbow Six game, because Rainbow Six Siege is going to continue. Like until the users die down, like they're going to keep going. They've got more content coming for that, of course, more updates, more quality of life stuff. But then now they're adding a new way to experience Rainbow Six, and it's purely co-op in Rainbow Six Extraction. And they showed a ton of this. Like this took up a huge chunk of the overall Ubisoft show. And I thought it looked cool. They really highlighted some of the strategies you can use. You can go single player through this and try it, which I thought was kind of interesting. But you can also go with it looked like up to 3 players, although sometimes it looked like there were 4. But
I thought it was 4, but
yeah, but they said 1 to 3 player co-op game. I was like, are you sure it's 3? Anyway. But yeah, they did say you can lose progress and upgrades when you die. So I hope that's not.
Dang.
I hope that's not everything. I hope that's just like certain upgrades you get for a run in other roguelike type games. But I hope there's permanent stuff. I hope.
I don't know why they do that with games sometimes.
I don't know why this is a Rainbow Six title. There was nothing about this that struck me as a Rainbow Six covert ops team.
Originally, it was it was originally called Quarantine.
Yeah, I know, but
and I'm guessing maybe there was more of a connection, but then with the name change, they probably maybe it went in a different direction throughout development.
Rainbow Six to me implies, well, especially with Siege, you're doing stealth stuff as a team, and you have to talk to each other, or you just flop.
This has some of that where you can. They showed some really cool things where you can identify where one of the creatures is, and then have someone else come around and attack them from a different angle or bust through the wall. So they highlighted some of that stuff, but. So I think that's your Rainbow Six touch, but you're right. It doesn't really feel like a lot of the rest of them. It's a little more sci-fi and a little more just action than we're used to seeing from them. But Rocksmith Plus, if you're a musician, which Jeff, I know that you are. Derek, I know you play some guitar. I play some guitar. But so I thought this was cool. It's not a game, but here's the biggest thing for me with Rocksmith Plus, and we'll move on, is that you don't have to buy any equipment. Like you just use your existing guitar, you sync it up with their app that they've got that syncs up with the game, and huge library of songs to play through and challenges and mini games. And I just think it's cool. I mean, I'm not saying
it's a good option.
I'm not saying it's my favorite thing ever. I just think it's neat.
I've always been curious about it, like with the first one, but like I don't have a guitar and the game, so I don't actually know how well
it's a great option for beginners for sure. I like that this kind of opens it up for a lot more people to play it if they were interested.
Yeah.
But subscription based might be a hard sell for some people.
Yes, that to me is the biggest hiccup on that one. But everything's subscription based. But that's weird that it's just for that one game.
Thank God Devolver did their thing this year, because I didn't expect them to tackle subscriptions as much as they did. That
was ridiculous. Riders Republic looks wacky and insane. It kind of reminds me of the direction that Trials, the last one, what was it called? Evolution or whatever. It was whatever the last. Yeah, it might have been Rising. The last one they did where you can like ride unicorns and all kinds of crazy stuff in the last Trials game.
I've never played one of those.
I love the Trials games, but so this feels like they're like, hey, let's take that concept and then blow it up into this crazy 3D. I wonder if it started as like a just downhill biking, perhaps. That seems like maybe where it started, but then it became like, oh, let's also have them do like the gliders, and let's also have them do bicycles with your whole life on the back. Like it looks pretty crazy.
It actually does legit look pretty fun.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. And the variety.
I would play this with friends. I would have to play this with friends though. I don't know if I could just do a solo thing with strangers. I feel like this would be more fun with friends.
Yeah.
Co-op.
Some of the visuals actually at times looked a little impressive. I was surprised. I expected it to look real silly, but there was a whole sequence where you're in first person riding your mountain bike down the trail.
That was impressive.
Like, that looks really nice.
Nice vistas.
Nice vistas.
Yeah. Is this by the Steep team? Because it reminds me of Steep, but with more options and environments.
It could be. I don't think they highlighted who that was, but that game comes out on September 2nd. I should have mentioned earlier that Rainbow Six Extraction is coming out on September 16th. So these games are coming out in the near future. that they were talking about. So to me, already there's 2 games
Rainbow
that aren't.
Six the new Rainbow Six, or is it just an expansion?
No, it's a new Rainbow Six game called Extraction.
Oh,
comes out on
yeah,
September 6th.
It kind of played like an expansion.
Yeah.
It kind of did. Like I was
and
like,
then Riders Republic on September 2nd. So at this point in the show, I'm not thinking, hey, I'm blown away, I'm so excited, but I'm thinking, all right, Ubisoft's got some stuff coming out. So I think that's probably why when it was over, I was like, yeah, that was fine. Yeah, I'm not the target audience for either of those, although they're both kind of interesting. I'm not the target audience, but I just kind of thought, hey, that's cool. They've got games coming out this year. Like they're working on stuff. Anyway, a couple other things we'll skip through here. Sizzle reel of a whole bunch of their ongoing games they have updates for. The Just Dance 2022 trailer was so cringy. It was
stop making these stupid ass games.
You're definitely the demographic for that, right, Tim?
100%. Yeah, that one is so cringy.
It actually is.
Mythic Quest.
17 kids.
Mythic Quest looks funny. I haven't watched that show on Apple TV Plus, but it does look kind of funny.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. Dude, you guys have to watch this show.
I need to watch it. And then Werewolves Within movie looked so dumb, and I hope it's like good bad. You know what I mean? But it looks really bad. But I think they're trying to be funny. I can't tell.
I think it's supposed to be a comedy. Yeah.
I think so. I hope so because
it's supposed to be like a horror comedy.
If not, wow.
It's got the hot AT&T chick. I'm watching it.
It does have her. It does.
Listen, she's gonna need you to stop belittling her. That's why she doesn't talk in the commercials anymore. She doesn't even want to deal with like.
She loves people thinking she's hot. Shut up. Far Cry 6.
She's definitely lying about that.
I did like that scene they showed in Far Cry 6. I mean, you don't need to keep showing me new scenes, but I did like this where it shows him going to that boat underneath and you discover. I'm like, why is a dictator here? And then they show why. It's like,
yep.
So I thought that was cool. I think you can tell, in my opinion, Giancarlo didn't mail it in just because it was a video game performance. Like he seems like he really acted. Like really acted in
At this point, though, stop showing us actual cutscenes. I don't want to see cutscenes anymore.
I want the game to just come out now. Like stop showing me stuff. But that looked really good. Mario Plus Rabbids was revealed. The sequel's called Sparks of Hope. I think that looks like a lot of fun. I loved the first game. I just thought it was a lot of fun. New enemies. I did. I beat it. I love that game.
Did you not play that, Derek?
I bet you beat it.
Oh, for God's sake. Jesus Christ. What are you, are you 12? Like, are you 13, 12? Like,
I mean, that's how I sell myself to girls. I'm like, I'm 41. I'm a 41-year-old trapped in. No, wait. I'm a 13-year-old trapped in a 41-year-old. I mean, I really am 13. I can't even get that right.
Body.
Anyway, that game comes out in 2022. And then they revealed Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Have y'all seen Avatar?
Have you seen Avatar?
Have you seen Avatar? I heard it was great.
So they made a specific point to say this is running on a new version of our Snowdrop engine, and I thought it looked amazing. I thought it looked really pretty, but it was cinematic, so that could be nothing. The gameplay itself could end up being ugly, but what they showed running on that new engine did look quite pretty. That world of Pandora that they created with that movie. Say what you want about the movie itself. The world is really colorful and it just kind of pops. So it looks like a cool world to explore. All the creatures are very creative. So I feel like this might be one of those scenarios where I like the movies. I don't love them. They're fine, but I might end up really enjoying the game. So who knows?
Did they ever release a sequel, like a second movie?
Next year.
They're working on three
Cameron's working on the 3 of them, right? Isn't there 3 more coming and he's filming them?
It's 4.
It's 4 more? Okay.
Yeah.
I know he filmed a couple back to back.
So next year in 2022, we will get the first of a series of 4 Avatar movies and the big video.
Terrible, by the way. I don't know if y'all have heard them.
What do you
mean?
They're
pretty terrible.
Please share.
Yeah, I do want to hear what these are. So next year,
I think he titled all of them.
So 2022 will get the next movie and the game, which I'm assuming will come out somewhat close to the movie, because why wouldn't you do that? And then every 2 years you get another movie. Right, I'm assuming probably more games too.
Yeah, I think if you do like a really cool open world where like, you know, there's like quests and there's like interesting characters, the Navi characters, like you could actually have potential there to be really fun and interesting.
It's through 2028, so you'll get 2022, 24, 26, 28. You'll get Avatar movies.
They must have removed the subtitles.
I don't think their subtitles are official. There's a lot of rumors about them though.
Yeah. I thought I remember seeing official images. I don't know.
Y'all seen the names of those Avatar movies?
I have an open mind going into this game. They described it as a first-person action adventure open world game. I'm assuming you can tame all kinds of mounts and all that. I mean, it just looks. It sounds like something that I'll be into, but who knows? It could suck. Licensed games are always.
This sounds really bad, but I kind of hope it sucks so we never hear about Avatar again.
Listen, James Cameron's going to shove it down your throat whether you want it or not. So
I didn't hate it as much as other people did, but
I didn't hate it either. It was just fine, and I just couldn't believe.
Well, I remember it was supposed to be. I was younger. I remember it was supposed to be like the greatest movie ever, and I remember watching it going,
trash.
Terrible.
You're looking around like, is anyone else seeing this?
I was like, Mom, do you like this?
There was a syndrome that people developed because they were so sad that they were not in the world of Pandora after seeing the movie in 3D. Yeah, some people like killed themselves.
That's not true.
That's 100% true. Like they were like,
stupid. That's not.
I'm not in Pandora. Like.
That's what Derek went through, but it was
kind of like the Matrix syndrome, but with a much lesser movie.
Gosh. There was a moment in that.
We are in the Matrix, guys.
There's a moment in that movie where Giovanni Ribisi's character is talking about why they're there, and he says it's because of this, and he holds up the rock and he goes unobtainium, and I'm like, that's what they call it. They call it unobtainium. Yeah. So that was one of the worst moments of that whole movie. Anyway, and there's some other low points, but. All right, moving on here. That was the close of the Ubisoft show. It was fine. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't terrible, but it also definitely wasn't great. There was no Splinter Cell, no teaser for the next Assassin's Creed.
Isn't there a Splinter Cell like movie or CG movie coming out though? Didn't they announce something?
Yeah, but they just didn't talk about it here.
Okay.
And the other thing was with Ubisoft, it's not that I necessarily needed another Assassin's Creed right away, and I would love another Splinter Cell, but I also didn't see much in terms of brand new IP. You can count Avatar,
they didn't
I guess, but so I was a little disappointed that there wasn't at least some new like spin-off IP or something.
I think the Mario.
They normally release like 2 or 3 new like announcements, like new IP.
It did feel a little quiet. It did feel a little quiet for them.
It is.
All right. If you watch the Devolver Showcase, then number one, and if you haven't, if you're going to go watch it, you need to drink or smoke something ahead of time.
So I missed it.
So freaking genius. Oh my
Dude,
God.
they are so bizarre. They actually showed some flashbacks because this is, I think, their 3rd, maybe 4th year doing these.
4th,
they haven't done
them. Yeah.
And they're always insane, always like pretending to cut people's arms off on stage.
And they're
stuff.
Like sequels. There's like the first one and then like the next one and so on and so.
Yeah,
they're like
it
sequels
follows
to their
like the person that did the first talk that they did where it was meta. And she was just saying things that were like TED Talk stuff or whatever. Buzzwords. She was just saying buzzwords the whole time. The first time.
One of my favorite moments is when, and they could be lying to me, but when they show their actual CEO and they actually put that like, here's the actual CEO, and she's hilarious, man. She got a potty mouth. She's so sarcastic. I was just like, this whole company is this way, man. This whole company.
Yeah.
I love the name of it.
They actually made good games.
They published.
There were like 3 games I was super into seeing on this one. They what did they call it? Devolver Max. It was like a combination of all the subscription services. It was like Devolver Max Plus, and then there was another word too that they added in there. At
the very end, they wanted to sell 1 videotape of that entire showcase. Because it's NFT.
It's a non-F-withable.
Yeah.
It wasn't even non-fungible. It was non-F-withable.
They went all out. So as far as games they publish, and Derek, I think you'd be interested in this one. They did show some gameplay from Shadow Warrior. It just it's a super fast-paced first-person shooter, super violent. It just looks crazy. And that comes out, supposed to be coming out later this year. I thought Trek to Yomi
Trek to Yomi.
Trek to Yomi looked pretty cool. It's a 2D action game set in feudal Japan. Comes out next year.
Just admit it. We're obsessed with feudal Japan. That's all it is.
Wait, so Derek likes 2D games? That's news.
Some of them, not all of them.
I love 2D in your face.
Okay.
What does that mean? Oh no! Let's stop this show right. What does that mean? I need you to explain to me what that means.
Probably Google
I kept it clean for Tim. He already had to pull me in the office once this week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was strike 1. That was.
Why don't you have a seat? Have a seat right there.
And it clearly worked.
Tim has a whiteboard behind him that says Derek's name and has one strike. And
it's got a strike. Yeah, it's got a strike next. Wizard with the Gun was kind of weird looking, but kind of interesting. This weird Western setting.
It looks fun. Yeah.
And then Inscription looks like a nightmare, but if you like card games, that one looks kind of crazy. They had a few other ones too, but I kind of started scrubbing through that show a little bit because it was too weird, man. It was too much. It was too weird.
All right,
it's too meta for you.
Let's just skip Gearbox. Can we just skip Gearbox? That was the worst
honestly,
show.
The more that Gearbox went along, I was like, I think I care more about what's going on the movie set than I do about any of the games.
They didn't show anything, so there's nothing really to talk about with Gearbox. I do think they're overselling the movie a little bit, so I'm nervous.
Wasn't there something with Kevin Hart? I didn't even watch
it.
I
just really oversold. Like, you're just so amazing. You're like a full-on action star.
You're an action star. Really impressed with you.
So I am. My expectations are low on that one.
An action star.
They didn't show anything else other than announcing that Godfall's coming to PS4. So
that's an amazing announcement.
They're like,
everything else
and
was
it has
just elaborating what we already saw. Yeah.
They're like, we have no announcements, but we're taking a step back. So
can we just be honest? Like, who gives a shit about Elder Scrolls? Who gives a shit about Elden Ring? Right? It's all about the movie,
Godfall.
the Borderlands movie, or Godfall. Yeah,
it's true.
Godfall, the Borderlands movie. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to the show that happened today. So this was earlier this afternoon. If you're listening to this, you're probably listening on Monday or Tuesday. So this was on Sunday. We had Xbox and Bethesda for the first time ever team up to do theirs, of course, because Microsoft owns them. They keep talking about like, hey, we're teaming up, and I'm like, nah, they bought you. Anyway,
we're excited. We've wanted this for so long. No, you didn't.
You're like,
Todd Howard, boss, can I please present this?
You cried when you found out.
They had Todd Howard come out to intro the overall show, and of course that was the intro of Starfield. But like, it was still interesting. He was like, "This is just." It kind of made it sound like this is what I've always wanted. It's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so they did finally unveil Starfield. It was just a cinematic teaser, nothing to get too excited about, except that we do know they're targeting next holiday, 11/11/22 to be exact, for release date. It is an Xbox console exclusive, and it's coming to Game Pass day one. I mean, that was the start of what I thought was a ridiculous waterfall of Game Pass announcements.
I was gonna say,
I agree.
I do think Xbox/Bethesda's showcase was the best
amazing.
Overall. So I was gonna say, if you want to just get the Square Enix one out of the way, but you've already started.
Let's just dive into this. We'll get to Square. We'll wrap up with Square. Stalker 2. I never played the first Stalker game.
Neither.
But Heart of Chernobyl, it looked like, to me, it looked really pretty.
Yeah. Dude, the faces of that one, especially that one guy that was like on top of the building, and he like turns around, he's like saying, he's talking to you. Like, I was like, wow,
that's stranger or whatever. Yeah. I thought the weather effects were amazing. The lighting weapons looked really cool. Some of the enemies you're fighting, I mean, it just looked amazing. And that one also has a defined date of April 28th, 2022. It's as far as I can tell, when it says console launch exclusive, I'm taking that to mean timed exclusive, but I could be wrong.
It is. Stalker is on everything, so yeah.
Okay.
It's time.
So it's just going to hit Xbox first, and it's going to be on Game Pass day one, but then it will likely come to PS5. Back for Blood. We got
no, not PS5, Switch.
Yes.
Where it's meant to be
You're right.
seen.
Stalker 2 coming to Switch.
And not even like a new Switch. Like a
literally running at 1 frames per
and
second.
For their weather effects, it's not rain, it's just a
frame.
block of water that just falls.
It's 1 frames per second because it has ray tracing.
It's actually negative frames. The game just implodes in on itself like a dying star.
Stop making fun of my Switch, but you're right. All right, Back for Blood, they had a new trailer, showed off some of the co-op and player versus player modes. I thought that still looks fun. And they announced coming to Game Pass day one, Unreal.
Yes.
That's a big announcement.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of people are excited about that game, and I was going to pre-order it. Now I don't have to.
Yeah, I love that. I love that I can just play this with anybody.
Microsoft is cleaning up. By the way, side note, before we keep going through all these other Game Pass announcements and such, do you guys think they're going to raise the price? Are we looking at $20 a month?
I feel like they kind of need to if they're going to keep this thing going, because like right now, I don't think it's sustainable the way that they do it at all. So
no, I don't think so, because a lot of the big ones that they're dropping on Game Pass they own, so they don't need to raise the price.
So they can
if they keep bringing in third-party deals, then yeah, maybe. But at this point, the main selling point, especially with this show, was Bethesda games, Xbox games, all coming to Game Pass day one, and they own all those.
I do wonder if maybe they'll do a tiered system in the future where it's like all first-party games are with your silver tier and whatever. Who knows? All right, Contraband. We didn't really learn too much about it, except that the little picture said it's a co-op open world game. I didn't see a release date anywhere, and I did some Googling and couldn't find.
Dude, I thought when they were scrolling through the whatever it was, the visuals and stuff, I thought it was like State of Decay 3 for some reason. And
I thought it was Just Cause.
Because I didn't pay attention to the fact that it was Avalanche Studios.
Yeah.
I like the idea
Just
of a
Cause
new
as
IP.
well. Yeah, when I saw Avalanche and I saw like the Jeep and it looks like some kind of heist set in modern day, I kind of thought maybe Just Cause, but nope, looks like a new IP. Don't have any released info on that one though, but that is going to be in Game Pass day one as well. Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life, free update.
This looked really cool, dude.
It's going to add all the Pirates of the Caribbean content.
I don't like the Pirates crap at all. I love this game. I just don't like the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
I don't mind it at all, man. They're adding a full story.
Well, I kind of want to download it just to see if the story. Well, it's epic. Apparently, it's epic.
That's a bad sign.
I just want to see if it's like. Yeah, I just want to see if it's like decent. I definitely don't expect epic, but we'll see.
Johnny Depp is pretty epic, so you know.
But my issue with that game still stands. It's the gameplay is just ridiculously boring.
It'll be interesting to see if they deliver on
only to a boring person.
See if they deliver on this on the actual like storytelling, because that's one area that Sea of Thieves has never done a good job with is storytelling. They claim like they have these tall tales and stuff, but as someone who's actually played through a bunch of those and tried to, even as someone who enjoys the gameplay, I see the faults in it, but I enjoy some of the gameplay. I'm still like, you guys didn't do a good job of just putting together a basic mission structure.
Well, maybe
that's fair.
Maybe this will kind of get them focused in that area, because I mean, it looks like it was. I mean, the trailer was mostly story, right? I didn't think they really showed gameplay. So.
Yep, lots of really cool stuff they showed. So I think this will be interesting. It's a free update, by the way, coming June 22nd. So no money required to try that out if you have Game Pass. Yakuza Like a Dragon is joining all the other Yakuza games on Game Pass, and that's
a big deal. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal because I was actually looking to buy it for $30, so they yet again saved me another $30.
I mean, also a big deal because like Yakuza for years has pretty much been buddy with Sony, so it seems like they're getting pretty buddy with Xbox. So
Sega.
Do you guys feel like this is at all like WCW buying all the wrestlers from WWF back in the day, and it's just going to crash and burn?
But then there was a collapse, right?
Yeah. So hopefully,
eventually, Vince was like,
"I'm on fire! I bought my competition." All right, Battlefield 2042. We talked about this already. They showed gameplay during the Xbox show, which did look really good.
For some reason, even though it said DICE at the beginning, and I should have just been like, "Oh, it's Battlefield."
What's this?
As I was watching the beginnings of it, I was like, "Oh, cool, a new DICE title." Yeah. And then when I saw the weather, I was like, "Holy crap! This is what Battlefield looks like!" Like it just blew my mind.
It did look good. It comes out
Totally
October 22nd.
128 play. That's crazy.
It was one of 3 games announced or talked about during the show that are not coming to Game Pass on day one. So it's one of the few games that's not doing that.
EA loves their money, so
yeah. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if that one sees some pretty good discounts even over the holiday. But who knows? 12 Minutes is that overhead drama that they've shown for a while now. This is I didn't realize the acting talent that's with this. You got James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe. I mean,
Willem Dafoe, dude.
That's amazing. That's coming out August 19th to everything, but it's going to be timed exclusive to Xbox. So August 19th on Xbox. It'll come to other stuff later.
I mean, the game's only 12 minutes long, so I don't think anybody's going to buy it anywhere else.
You're redoing the... Okay, never mind. You know what? You got it. Yeah, you're right.
And that is...
Once you die, you're done. You're done with the game.
I mean, with all those actors, they can only afford to make a 12-minute game, right? You got all those big names, so...
I'm intrigued by this one. But
yeah,
that comes
I've seen so many gameplay like dev walkthroughs, and man, there's a lot of stuff
Pass
you can do
as well. So even if I were like, do I want to spend whatever it's going to be, $20-$30? It's on Game Pass. Holy crap!
I think it's only $12 also.
That would make sense. Psychonauts 2. We did get a new trailer. Listen,
$1 an hour.
Psychonauts. That's not 12 hours.
I thought it was 12 minutes. Make up your mind.
That was a joke.
Nope,
Make
you're
up your
wrong.
mind, goddammit.
You're wrong. Psychonauts 2 did look listen, this game has a unique look. Not everyone's going to like the visual style. It's totally fine. I actually thought that the detail they added is starting to look kind of impressive. I think it looks interesting. I liked the first game.
Microsoft money.
I liked the first game, but yeah, my hopes are kind of somewhere in the middle for this one. I feel like it might be kind of funny, but not amazing. But we'll see.
It definitely looks very Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah, but you know, it doesn't hurt the wallet to try it out because Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Bethesda's adding 10 games that were not previously on Game Pass today, and that includes Arcs or Arc Fatalis, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, which I think was the add-on for Dishonored 2. Doom from 2016, the first one. They already had Doom Eternal on there. The Evil Within 2, Rage, Wolfenstein 2, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, and Fallout 3. And I think all the Fallout games are only PC, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Or at least those older 3 are.
Yeah, the
original sort of Diablo-esque ones, yes.
Maybe 3 might be on console.
I didn't realize the New Colossus wasn't on Game Pass yet. It's probably because I was still working my way through the first, whatever the one before that one.
So here come more. It's weird that they're not just adding them all at once, but maybe they want to highlight certain things. Who knows? Could be other deals behind the scenes we don't know about. Doom Eternal is getting next-gen upgrades on June 29th. And they highlighted a few of those things, you know, the performances and resolution and all that stuff.
This is the section of the show that I call, of course, Bethesda has to show their old crap. Because they do this every single year.
Fallout 76, which I thought they would just talk about and
Speaking
move
of
on.
old crap.
Yeah.
But they did a whole thing. And they talked about some upcoming content. You know, they're not giving up on that game, for better or worse. And same with Elder Scrolls Online, same thing.
It's so funny, though, because I think Elder Scrolls Online, for the most part, there wasn't the anger for Fallout 76 with ESO.
Right.
You know, like people were like seething with anger with 76 because of just
I think people still love ESO for the most part. I think
I know Jesse plays it. He enjoys it, so
I know people that have jumped into 76 recently and like it and will tell me to try to play it. So
No, they're both successful.
They are.
I mean, it didn't start out great, but I think it got better. I guess.
No, they fixed it. They fixed it.
The next game is kind of Fall Guys-esque, called Party Animals. As soon as I saw this, I was kind of like, no thanks. But I showed my kids the trailer a couple hours ago before they were going to bed. I was like, hey, check out some of these trailers. And I showed them Mario plus Rabbids and a few others. I showed them Party Animals, and they wanted to see it like 5 times in a row. They were all dying laughing at the silly physics and animals, and like they are the target audience for this, where you're hitting each other with shovels, and it's just silly.
Have any of you played Gang Beasts?
Yeah.
It's more like Gang Beasts.
It is.
Okay. So that's from
They look like wacky, waving, inflatable, arm flailing tube men.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Human Fall Flat.
They can't grab you and stuff. That's what Gang Beasts is.
Human Fall Flat has some of those kind of physics-based floppiness things going on. But
Party Animals looks like a refined version of Gang Beasts because it has it has more options and stuff. And apparently some people of YouTube have already been playing this game. And like YouTube, whatever gamers that are popular. And they were like, this is actually like one of the funniest games ever because it's just ridiculous.
It looks very silly. It comes out Game Pass day one, whenever it drops in 2022. Hades is coming really to not just Xbox, coming to PS4 and PS5 as well on August 13th. But it'll be on Game Pass on Xbox on August 13th.
Good sell. That's a good sell.
So it's like either go buy it on Sony or go play it with your Game Pass subscription.
Oh, I guess I have to, Tim. So, you know.
No one's telling you.
You really don't.
You're the stubborn one at this
saying
point.
That over and over, you could just buy an Xbox with all the money you would save instead of buying.
I don't sell my body to make money like you do, so yeah.
There is this game called Somerville, which I am very interested in because I do like survival games like this, but it's got a family aspect. I know this freaking game's going to make me so sad at some point. I know it is. But it's a family trying to survive. It shows that, dad, mom, and kid. And then at the very end, there's a really cool moment. They're sleeping on the couch, and the kid hears some monster in the other room and sits up and looks, and then it goes to the title. So I thought this one looked really cool.
That had really, really cool vibes. What was the movie? It was not like it was based off of an older movie that had Tom Cruise. What was with the alien?
No.
It was Alien movie, but it was with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get, as the aliens attack, he's trying to get
the Earth Stood Still.
No, that's
So you're not thinking of War of the Worlds then, or
War of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds. Yes, thank you.
Oh, because I already said that, but
okay. Yeah, it almost sort of had a little bit of those vibes, but like not with Tom Cruise, and
not with lots of running, and even the dog lives at the end. Ridiculous.
Oh. That is also Game Pass Day 1 coming in 2022. They did dive into Halo Infinite a bit. We got to see a cinematic trailer. Of course, that looked good. When have they not delivered a really cool cinematic trailer for Halo? They always do. We still don't know what the single player game will look like in action compared to last year. They did give us kind of an environmental like hover view, just like last time, I thought like, yeah, this looks good. Like it's fine. It didn't blow me away, but it's fine.
They got to show
But they're saying it's coming out this holiday, so they're sticking to that. I'm surprised we didn't see more of the campaign. They did show, if you watch the rest of it, they showed a lot of multiplayer. So you got to see a ton of, here's some modes, and here's some weapons, and here's some things you can do, and some outfits, and multiplayer is going to be free for everybody.
Like the samurai gear, that samurai stuff.
Samurai gear looked really cool. It's going to be running 120 FPS on the Series X. That's what they're shooting for, at least. Game Pass Day 1, of course, for both the campaign and multiplayer. And if you don't have Game Pass, you still can play multiplayer free to play. And they are going to be doing seasons with multiplayer. They talked about season 1, how it's going to be launching. So there you go. A whole bunch of stuff with Halo Infinite. I mean, listen, I've never played a Halo game that I thought, wow, this is a bad game. This is poorly made. Like, they're all high quality in terms of just the production values.
Yep.
Whether or not the campaigns are always worth experiencing, it's up for debate, I suppose. But I think anyone who's just like, oh, I just hope it's good, I think that's one of the dumbest things to say. A Halo game isn't going to come out and not be good. It might not be the best Halo. You might be like, hey, this isn't as good as 3 or whatever your favorite one is. That's fine. But to pretend like it's a potential that this could actually be a bad game is just stupid. It's not going to be a bad game. It might not look as good as you want, but it's not going to be a bad game.
It's only people that are tribalists or whatever that will be like, "Oh, this is gonna suck."
It's that it's Derek's favorite thing. It's Derek's favorite passive-aggressive tactic, where it's like, "Well, I just hope they get it together. I hope it's good. I hope it's just like, shut up."
I hope they get it together.
Derek knows what I'm talking about.
You do.
Derek, any thoughts on Halo? Do you care? Are you going to be jumping into this? Like, what are your thoughts on this? Because I know you've liked Halo at least.
No, I was the one that was excited when they initially announced Halo Infinite. Before, honestly, when I originally watched the trailer, I was like excited, and then I found out everybody was hating on it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to be mad. Oh wait, I'm not. So I'm actually more disappointed by this, and it's probably because they were so multiplayer focused. I wanted to see what the campaign was about. I am intrigued by the story because I am invested in the whole Cortana is, spoiler, evil, and she's turned on Master Chief and humans. So I'm invested in the story, so I wanted to see the campaign. I want to see what it looked like and all that. But so I was a little disappointed in that, but I'm on board for Halo Infinite. It's one of my, for the fall, it's one of the games I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
But there's another one they announced we'll talk about in a second that I'm actually more excited for.
All right, well, God, if it's grounded or something, I'm going to lose it.
Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming out September 23rd. Of course, that's not just to Xbox.
I can't wait. I honestly can't wait to play that. I haven't played a single Diablo. So.
They did a cool job of kind of showing the old version, and then they hand over with the 4K and that kind of thing. So it does look pretty cool. A Plague Tale Requiem was a real surprise announcement for me. I wasn't expecting this one, but A Plague Tale Innocence, is that what this is called? I'm already blanking out.
That's the first one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one was a surprise favorite of mine. Was it 2019, I think?
Yeah. It was after you gushed about it, I finally beat it. Because I played enough of it to know that it's good, but didn't beat it. And then when I beat it, I was like, holy crap.
The setting was so cool, man. And it was just a really cool game. Clearly limited by their budget to make it as big as they wanted to make it. This looks like perhaps they might have more budget to work with after that first game being a hit. It's possible that they just showed us the right vertical slices to give me a feeling of this game looks way bigger, a lot more characters. The settings looked more varied to me, at least at a glance. Anyway, I'm excited.
Right? So are they still on the run? No, I guess they beat the guy.
Well, at the end, everything seems kind of like it's fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, things are not fine.
It shows this. It shows
I would
the brother
imagine
in the jail
they
cell
left anyway. They wanted to leave that neighborhood to be like, there's only evil here or something, so let's just leave.
Yeah.
But I remember them getting on a carriage and leaving. So
that's a 2022 game, also Game Pass day one. So
dude, I said, "Oh my god" out loud at like that was like the first thing I said out loud in like 3 hours at my apartment.
Can we all agree that the wave of rats coming down the alleyway is one of the worst things ever?
Terrifying.
When I saw that, that's when I knew it was Plague Tale. I said, "Oh my god," and my dog was like, "What? Did something happen?" He was like, just awoke from his slumber.
He sits up. He's like, "A Plague Tale too?
I will protect you. What happened?"
Yeah.
You're a weenie. Shut up, dude.
Not from these damn rats, you won't.
They showed a little more Far Cry 6, which we'll skip over. We talked about that enough. Slime Rancher 2, that's one that I would never have guessed would get a sequel.
Yeah.
But that's coming out. Game Pass.
I didn't even know there was a first one. That's kind of funny.
2022. It's
Derek's favorite game.
Yes. That has Derek. That was the one you were talking about, right, Derek?
Yeah.
I got really strong 1080 downhill snowboarding vibes from Shredders.
Yeah.
This really cool looking snowboarding game that's also a Game Pass day one game in December. Timed exclusive. It's coming to other stuff too. Atomic Heart looks like the weirdest first person shooter I've ever seen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They this has been shown up before. I think Game Informer had like an exclusive story on it a while ago. So I had completely forgotten about it, but then
I think it's already on PC. Like, and this is like, oh, finally it's coming to console. I don't know. No, never mind.
This was the first. This was the first I had heard of.
Everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing it somewhere, but
it didn't list any kind of year or release window, but it did say Game Pass day one.
Oh, it's an RPG too. That's fun.
Yeah, that one looks so weird.
Day one. That's a big deal.
I think it's from ex-BioShock team members.
Like really creative visuals, if not nightmarish.
Yeah.
Replaced looks amazing. Talk to me about this one. This one looks so.
Oh my god! Like, I can't. So like, obviously, a lot of it is pixelated, but like, the lighting and like the cameras panning in certain angles. So like the way and there's like rain, so it's bouncing off of buildings, and the buildings don't really look pixelated, but they're not like totally photorealistic.
Like the street at night with the rain falling on it.
Yeah.
The way the light was. What? How did?
And it definitely cyberpunk vibes, right? Like that sort of genre, right? As far as visual.
That's what I got.
Dude, oh my god! Like, holy crap! Like that. I was actually kind of sitting there, like, not really, like, I was a bit speechless. Like, it.
I couldn't believe they had to move on to another game after that. I was like, can we just pause for a second? I can't
go to Grounded after this, really?
Yeah. Poor Grounded.
Listen, the combat looked really cool. Like, you were shooting enemies, but then also you like grabbed an enemy and flipped him around and broke his arm or whatever you did. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff that looked really interesting. A lot of cool traversal. I have no idea if this is an open world 2D action game or what, but
no idea.
That'd be amazing.
I get the vibe of that. Like, it looks like you're exploring and battling, but I don't know.
Yeah, this was definitely the biggest, certainly the biggest surprise, because I mean, who would have seen this type of game coming?
Yeah, that's 2022 coming Game Pass.
Heck yeah, Game Pass. Oh man, Game Pass.
Updates to Grounded as well as Among Us is coming to Xbox along with other platforms that has.
Can't wait for there's a few of us in the group that haven't played Among Us still yet, because it's only on certain consoles, like or PC mainly.
Well, it'll be on Game Pass now, so
it's on the Switch, but I've heard it functions kind of terribly, especially if you want to do voice chat and stuff, and it's just difficult.
The best way to play this game is with the PC.
It really is.
You can type, but
unless they've worked out the kinks on consoles, which it sounds like they're actively working towards doing that.
I watched this whole showcase after it had already aired, because I only got bits and pieces of it just because our family schedule, we were doing lunchtime and all. It was just kind of crazy. So I finally got to sit down and watch it after I'd already seen people tweeting or posting in our group about big stuff, or I had just kind of watched a couple YouTube clips here and there. So this one totally was not on my radar. No one had spoiled this one or talked about it at all, because apparently no one else cares about the coolest looking RPG coming out.
Yeah.
And that's the Eiyuden Chronicle games. The first one, I say games now because we know there's two games. First one is Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. That was the Kickstarter game that just rocked. It was crazy. It just blew up Kickstarter. And it just took, I think they maxed that out. They had no more bonuses to add. They
Right.
actually turned it off. It's a spiritual successor to Suikoden, if you're not sure what I'm talking about. And the visuals, I think, just look absolutely unreal. They look so good. I think it's
like the way the camera kind of spins around is very dynamic. It just makes the combat look way more interesting. Like
it's easy for folks to look and say, oh, so it's a little Octopath Traveler. And I would argue, like, no, it got certain elements of that maybe, but I think like the environments look so high res and crystal clear. It doesn't have a ton of that pixely look, in my opinion. I think it looks really good. So that one is now listed at 2023, which is technically a delay. They were shooting for 2022 before, but that's because they're releasing another game that looked at a glance. All we saw was a glance, like some sort of 2D action platformer, maybe in the same universe.
I didn't even catch like visually any sort of separation there. Like I just saw that title come up. I was like, wait, what? What's going on?
Eiyuden Chronicle Rising is coming in 2022, and at the end it showed both of them coming Game Pass day one. Just why
Obviously.
not? Why not?
So it's
I'm excited.
it's a separate game. Okay. Yeah,
I just game coming out next year, and then the full one that's been kickstarted and everyone's really pumped for, the full-on RPG looks like 2023.
I hadn't heard about any of this, and it looked good to me. So I mean, I'll play them. Especially
it was a big deal on Kickstarter.
Love me some Suikoden for sure. The Ascent, which we've already heard about, they talked about that. That's coming out July 29th to Game Pass.
This looks fun.
It's a timed exclusive. Age of Empires 4 is coming to PC only, but that'll be on Game Pass for PC.
Dude, I love Age of Empires. Oh my god.
October 28th. It didn't look super graphically intense, so I wonder if I think medium level machines should be able to play something like this.
What are you trying to say, Tim?
It didn't look very good. Outer Worlds 2, hands down, had my favorite trailer. I watched it with my kids too, because we watch trailers together. My kids like to get hyped with me on certain games, so we watched the trailer for this, and dude, I loved it so much. Like,
I think
very self-aware.
Even though it wasn't clear, it wasn't obvious exactly what it was, but because of the tone of the narration, like I think after like 2 sentences, I was like, "This is Outer Worlds."
This one was spoiled that someone actually posted like Outer Worlds 2 had a really funny self-aware cinematic trailer making fun of cinematic trailers. So I kind of knew it was coming. And as soon as I heard the voiceover, I knew that's what it was. But that being said, I mean, I won't do it justice. So if you're listening to this and haven't watched it, go watch it. It's so funny. But my favorite part was when he showed the
sound, which indicates something else is happening.
I do like the part when it showed the creature, funny. And he's just like, "Is this creature in the game? Nope. Say goodbye to him forever."
Dude, I was watching it with Renee, and she's like, "Oh, this looks cute. It could be a game that we could play." And then the thing just gets crushed, and she's like, "What the hell? Like, come on!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what this is.
That's
like
what Outer Worlds does."
Yeah.
So anyway, of course,
they didn't even need to show. Even like the narrator even admitted it. They didn't even need to show us anything. We knew they were making an Outer Worlds.
He was like, "We don't have anything ready to show you yet."
No.
They haven't actually created the full render of the character.
Yeah, very, very funny. But that's of course that's the news we all expected, and that is this is going to be an Xbox console exclusive, and it will be Game Pass day and date, and also on PC.
Well, I guess the first one I should say was on Game Pass day one. I shouldn't say I said like the first one when you said Xbox. I think first
one was on other systems, right? It was just
it was on PS4 and whatever else at the time, but it was definitely day one. I didn't buy it. I never bought the game. I ended up getting it on Game Pass day one.
Okay, gotcha. Microsoft Flight Simulator, no one's surprised because we knew it was coming at some point, is arriving 27th
very soon.
Only to the Series S and X, not to Xbox One. Those couldn't handle it anyway.
I wonder if I'll suck less at it.
Coming for that too.
Yeah, Top Gun. Yeah.
Listen, the Microsoft Flight Simulator, we talked about it last year. Super pretty, just not my type of game to play. It's so impressive, but I don't know.
Flying for real is tough, you guys. Did you know that? If you have no background.
Know it now, thanks to Microsoft.
I wonder if with a controller it's just much more simple. I don't know.
Yeah. Press A to go. That's all I want.
Right? Exactly.
Apparently, don't use a keyboard when flying in real life. So,
I think it's fair to say that we each have our favorites from the show, like games that we're excited to play. I think the next game they showed, hands down, was, at least as far as new games go, had to be the most visually impressive one, right?
Yeah.
That we saw all weekend, and that was Forza Horizon 5. I mean, I was just stunned.
Especially if you go back and watch it in 4K.
Yeah, I watched this on my TV, the LG CX whatever TV, and holy crap, dude.
So I'm
watch the 4K trailer. It's amazing.
I'm watching it in 1440, so it's not quite 4K, but it looks So good.
Noob.
So good. It's
what trash? Like seriously, who confesses that they're
just pretend you watched it in 4K. Just
I watched
only
it in
have an
2K.
RTX 2070.
I watched it in 2K. It was crazy the way they talked about how they actually put cameras on location and captured 24 hours of sky and plants and everything just to be able to then render that in the game. I mean,
it's just environments in the background. Like you're racing a car and driving by it so fast, but they're putting such attention to detail. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
It's evident too, even when you're driving real fast. Like it looked so beautiful. This is Game Pass Day 1, of course, comes out November 9th. And by the way, what I'm loving about this weekend so far is our holiday calendar is filling up pretty quick with a lot of really marquee games. So I'm getting pretty excited about this holiday season. Just a couple weeks ago, we previewed like the summer, and we were like, well, we don't really know much past August, so I hope some stuff comes out outside of like we knew Back for Blood. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm very excited for this one as well.
I can't wait to get unexpectedly addicted to this game because Horizon 4 was like that. I was just like, all right, well, it's Game Pass. I'll just try it out. And then I'm sitting there like 4 hours later. I'm like, what time is it?
It's a great game to just kind of like, I don't think I want to do a bunch of missions. I don't think I want to do a story thing. I just kind of want to drive around. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. Looks gorgeous. Set in Mexico. Really great setting. More varied than I would have expected. Even going to the top of a volcano. I don't know. It looks great.
Yeah, an active one apparently.
And then Phil came out and gave us an overview of the Game Pass schedule for this year. So just in case you missed it, here's what's coming up. Xbox is starting to get into an insane rhythm. I would argue that the next 18 months that Microsoft has planned is starting to sound amazing. Yeah. Starting now all the way through to Starfield. Combination of stuff coming to Game Pass, new IPs, sequels. Like, I'm really impressed with, because it's been a while. We keep wondering, well, what are you doing, Microsoft? Where are you? And now we've got about 18 months, in my opinion, where it's going to be good to have Game Pass or have an Xbox.
There you go, Tim. Are you happy now?
Are
you happy?
Mildly happy. Yeah.
This is a big. I feel like this is a big step. Like, I mean,
I think so.
Because the steps they were taking before weren't even baby steps. It was like nothing.
Well, they were just like
that's
slowly
why I feel
preparing.
like it's such a big step because they were preparing for this type of stuff.
I mean,
let me just read through this list real quick. Listen to this. This is what's coming out to Game Pass just for the rest of this year. Yakuza Like a Dragon June is out now. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance June 22nd. Microsoft Flight Simulator, June 27th. The Ascent, July 29th. I meant to say July 27th, July 29th. Hades on August 13th. 12 Minutes on August 19th. Psychonauts on August 25th. Psychonauts 2. Origami 2, which I didn't know they were making a sequel to that one.
I didn't know either. I saw some gameplay on it. It looks awesome.
Looks really cool.
I can't believe that's a Game Pass title, man.
Yep, that's coming on September 27th. Sable on September 23rd. Sometime this fall, Anacrusis and Scorn are still on the slate to come out. If you haven't,
Scorn is like the alien
Scorn,
basically just alien.
It looked like Prometheus. You know, it had that
super creepy. Like the guns are all alien, and they make like these squishy noises. Like it's just
a lack of news on that makes me wonder if we're actually going to see it this fall. But we'll see. Anacrusis though was that 4-player co-op space station one I talked about.
Yeah.
Back for Blood, October 12th. Age of Empires 4, October 28th. Forza Horizon 5. November 9th, Shredders coming out in December, and then yet to be announced the exact dates for 2021 is Among Us, Hello Neighbor 2, The Gunk, and Halo Infinite, all still coming.
The Gunk!
The Gunk.
The game of the show.
Can we just pause and talk about The Gunk, please? Redfall looked really interesting. It kind of had a Back for Blood, but with vampires, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it is, but...
I wasn't expecting that.
It looked like it was taking place in a fantasy world because, like you said, with a question mark, it looks like our main protagonists are all superpowered.
Or
they have
like
different
they
types of
somebody.
powers.
So someone sent down some kind of escape telephone booth pod for them to leave in, and she said, "Thank you, so and so." So I don't know if there's maybe like a controller that's I don't know, man.
At one point, they mentioned Massachusetts. I don't know if you guys are aware. That's just how we do things here.
Okay,
everything that happened in that trailer, that's just that happened.
It's just accurate.
So there, I mean, it was just a cinematic trailer. I don't think we really get an idea of what exactly the game is. They're saying it comes out next summer. I can tell in my opinion, it looks pretty obvious that it's going to be at least co-op, if not clearly class-based, and Left 4 Dead style.
There were 4 of them, right?
So I think
to
me, the vibes that I got.
They said it was you can play it solo or up to 4 players.
Yeah. So it's like it'll be like Left 4 Dead, but maybe like a more focus on story. So that hence the single player. But like if you're playing with the group of buddies, then obviously you'll see cutscenes and like
I can't imagine Arcane Studios doing a game that's just like Left 4 Dead, where it's like, okay, we're done with this stage, let's go to the next one. So it's got to be
more like. I think it's more like a Halo Gears type game where you can play it alone or play with friends.
I mean, it's the folks who make Dishonored. They know how to make a really strong story, mission-based, quest-based type game. So, it looks very stylish, very unique.
Looks better than that Deathloop, doesn't it, Fab?
It looks way better than Deathloop, in my opinion. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen.
I think they both look good.
What the heck it is?
Well, we haven't seen gameplay of it, so we don't actually know yet. But
right, the concept is more interesting to me than Deathloop. Deathloop, I get the concept, and I'm like, okay, and I'm probably not gonna.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, man. Sorry, cool style, but not really something I'm interested in. Also, of course,
I'm not gonna play that game in 1440p. I'm not gonna do that.
Can't
so Tim's an old lady now. Is that what it? That was your old lady voice, like.
and that's.
What is it you do here?
Redfall comes out, of course, to Game Pass day one as well. The last thing they announced, which I thought was funny, was kind of after the sizzle reel and after everyone saying thank you, then they showed they are actually going to be selling an Xbox mini fridge this holiday.
I am buying it.
Lean into the meme. Yeah.
I need this. I was just talking to Katie about how I'd love to have a mini fridge up here for some drinks. It's my office up here. I'd love to be able. This would be perfect. I really want to get this thing.
That's definitely a real.
It all depends on pricing. If they're crazy, I'm not doing it.
I'm with you.
That's definitely a real douche bro move. For sure.
So there was quite a bit of reception. Well, at least a couple people in the group that were like, Xbox was meh. Okay, so you don't like games then? Because that's what you're telling me.
Was it Fab?
No,
he was one of them. He was one. He said it was.
He didn't say.
He goes. It was a solid showcase, 7 out of 10. And I was like, what are you talking?
Yeah. It's just. Listen, I don't know, man. You're basically admitting you don't like games and you prefer your tribalism over games.
So I'm supposed to be like the Sony pony, right?
Let's hear it. I'm curious. Yeah.
And like, obviously, I think it's obvious that Microsoft / Bethesda showing overall was the most consistent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
anytime you're showing over 30 games and then they tell you 27 of them are included in a subscription that you pay at most $15 a month. I've yet, by the way, to pay $15, and I still have the subscription. But my point is when you're dropping that many games, even if 10 of them sucked, you're getting 20 new games, and most of them are new IPs.
Yeah,
like most of them are not like I made a little comment in like my little group chat where a lot of them are ponies, and I said the future looks bright for Xbox FU ponies or whatever. and then they responded.
I was like, couldn't you just leave it at the future looks bright for Xbox?
Nope.
Couldn't you just leave it there?
Nope.
And they responded, like Kent responded with, "Oh, so what did they do? Announce another Halo and Forza." Which I didn't even talk about. Forza Horizon 5 I said was like my for Xbox, that was my favorite game that they announced. Even though we've seen Horizon before, I still was blown away by how amazing it was. But here's the other thing that I liked. As a fan, I was not expecting Forza Horizon anytime soon, and especially not this year. The next Forza game is supposed to be motorsport. So that was another thing. Like if you don't follow Xbox at all, maybe that's not a big deal. But that is a big deal. Like they skipped over motorsport. They went from 4 to 5 and didn't even release a motorsport. And then
he did say that they're working on it, by the way.
They're still working on it, so it's coming. But I would rather have Horizon.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm getting it this year, I'm getting it in what, 4 months, 4 or 5 months, is pretty amazing because I did not know it was coming. I thought that this would be at least maybe a year and a half, 2.5 years. I really believe
they clearly have been working on it for a while because didn't Digital Foundry, weren't they like, unless that was a different Forza that was going to be for the newer Xbox, they had like a whole thing where they like saw the new Forza and like did
that was Gran Turismo. They did a whole thing on Gran Turismo.
I thought it was Forza. All right. Well.
Oh. I don't think they have anything on Forza yet.
So did you actually, Derek, did you give them a rundown of what actually was announced and impress them or not really?
No, I just told F off ponies.
Okay, cool.
And I moved on.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Listen,
By the way,
totally
guys,
honest,
Tim only asked that question because he's going to bring it up in our next management meeting. Got it.
I am. It's been noted.
It's in your file.
It's in your file. Don't you worry about that.
File.
How can we improve your customer service?
If you
Maybe
objectively
not
look
tell
at this
people to
list
F off.
and you saw these types of games, I understand Switch couldn't run most of these, but I'm saying if you saw these types of games in a Nintendo showcase, you'd be like, holy crap, they're killing it. If you saw these in a Sony showcase, you'd be like, they're absolutely demolishing, because they didn't even bring up Gears or Ori or Fable or Perfect Dark.
They kept quiet on a lot of their big ones.
And they still
that other God, what was the name of that other one that they alluded to? Bethesda did, and it was
Woken,
Avowed or something like that.
Yeah,
Avowed.
Yeah.
Avowed. Yeah, so there's these games that we know are in the works that they didn't even need because this showcase already had enough games for the next, again, 18 months is looking real strong. So I thought it was quite good, and I think they should be pretty excited with what they finally
at least a 9 out of 10 to me.
I agree.
I'll allow it.
All right.
The only
feel
way
like
they could have
anything
gone
less than
higher
an 8 is like a little try hard. Like, I'm trying to be unimpressed by this because I don't want my colors to bleed black and green.
Forza looked pretty good, I guess, but the rest of it I could take it or leave it. It's like, what are you talking about? Okay. Anyway, Square Enix also had a show, and Dan, I know that you didn't love it, but I am curious if you could go through. Do you have a rundown of it? If not,
I do, Tim.
Okay.
I do.
Because there were some things they showed here that I was interested in, some things that I wasn't.
What'd you
but
say?
he said, "Let's do it fast."
That's what she said.
Okay. Go ahead. Take us through.
That is what she says.
Well, they had a showing, so.
They did.
So a while back, it was rumored and I guess rumored / leaked that a Guardians of the Galaxy game was being developed. Yep. Well, that is in fact true. Eidos Montreal.
Amazing.
The what?
I thought it was amazing.
I think the initial trailer that they showed, and when I first saw it, kind of I forget what game you said earlier, Derek, but when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. And then when they actually showed kind of more gameplay and the
really
group
went into it.
Yeah, the group actually interacting with each other, definitely I think they're nailing that for sure. Very similar. I mean, the only reference I have for Guardians is the movies. So I mean, as far as the banter between them, the kind of just joking around with each other and poking at each other, that's definitely there. So they're nailing that for sure. I think the environments look really pretty. They look really nice.
Looks fun, man. Combat looks really
See, that's where I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like Star-Lord, I don't know. I don't know if generic's the right word, but I don't know. There's something there that I'm kind of this feels not super interesting to me. I don't know why.
You could be right. I think I like the idea of pulling up the, command menu to tell your other teammates to do stuff, and then you're shooting and dodging around. Listen, that might be repetitive and not be fun long term, but at a glance, it looks like it's pretty fun. But I could be wrong.
I think it's just the way he was kind of moving around just didn't seem super fun to me. Okay. But maybe as you're, I mean, they're still clearly working out the game and, kind of fine tuning and
comes out soon.
And then maybe the additional soon. Having the rest of the crew do kind of their attacks will make it more interesting. So yeah.
Some of the choices were funny. Which of them do you want to sell?
Yeah.
That's just fun. I love it, man.
That's another reason why I liked it. I thought it looked good and it looked fun. I was hoping actually it was this the announcement that I thought it was Deus Ex or a different one? Yeah, this is Eidos.
This was
right?
Eidos Montreal.
Yeah, I was hoping it was Deus Ex. But anyways, I was excited because I thought it was fun and it looked good, and I do like Guardians of the Galaxy or Gardeners of the Galaxy.
Gardeners of the Galaxy.
But I was really excited by the fact that it was coming so soon. I did not expect. Again, some of these announcements were extra hype for me just because of release dates.
Right. Yeah. There were a lot of 2022 games announced this E3. So
a lot.
I think I really enjoyed the Telltale Guardians game before Telltale folded. So I think it's cool that they included some of those aspects in this, where it's certain choices you select, certain dialogue choices have consequences later on.
Yeah, or even
and I
just
like that
little
this is story focused. And it separates. This immediately separated itself from what Avengers ended up doing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Immediately, which it needed to. So
because Avengers is like games or service, which I don't like that format.
Not for that type of not at all.
Yeah, this just feels like just a fun action game.
Yeah, they said it's a single player story focused. So I'm all on board.
That's how you're supposed to do, in my opinion, Marvel based, like Marvel oriented,
tell a story,
melee games.
Right.
Give me a freaking good like Uncharted level story or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, Naughty Dog it, but with Marvel characters.
Exactly.
So when I first saw that it was it's another Square Marvel team up, I was like, oh boy. But but I ended up being pretty excited about it. I'm excited for this one.
I think
so. Again, our fall is filling up with games, man, because this is October, right?
Yeah,
October 26th. I think overall, like once I started watching again that additional stuff, I felt more positive about it. But we'll see how Peter Quill handles. Yeah. So speaking of Marvel, so they showed we're doing still doing that Avengers game. It's like it still looks pretty generic.
I didn't pay attention for a lot of those.
I was chatting with Kyle like all the conferences or whatever, and I was like, why did they spend like 10 minutes on Avengers when all I wanted to see was Black Panther? Like, stop spending your resources.
They're still working on it, Jeff. That's
why. Spending so much resources on creating new content for existing playable characters. And I'm like, if you could just maybe spend those resources, and I mean like employees, whatever, on downloadable content for new characters, maybe people would stay on.
It's taking too long to come out.
Yeah, they didn't even put a freaking release date on it. It was like August or something like that. And
and like I think aesthetically Black Panther looks cool. It definitely looks like what he's supposed to look like, and he looks very cool.
And match the vibe of the movie with the music and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
The voice actor seems like he's kind of doing a bit of a
pretty good job. Like Bozeman.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. So when they were showing kind of just like the kind of recap of like all the additional content of Avengers that they've released so far, and like all the story stuff, like I think the issue is that the villains, it's like they're trying to do something different with that game, but the villain isn't interesting.
The scientist lady?
Yeah, like why is that what they're pursuing as the villain? Like I don't understand. She doesn't seem interesting. It's like, is she even an actual character from the comics? Like I have no idea who she is.
But can we all agree she's already more interesting than Ronan the Destroyer? He was one of the worst villains in all Marvel movies.
I think he was just wasted.
I don't know.
think that he's a bad villain. I think he was
he was a bad movie villain in that.
Yeah, he was.
I just
good
think
actor too.
They just need
great actor. I'm happy they brought him back.
They need a big name villain, I think, in this game, so they can kind of get fans back into the fold. I think that's what the issue is.
Yeah, not
really...
angry Cara Dune or whatever. It's like
I just don't. Yeah,
Gina Carano. I bet you that villain also tweets out support for Trump. That's probably what also happened. They're like, look how bad she is.
Yeah. So
I really hope they pick up the speed with. Once Black Panther comes out, it's like, come on, you said Spidey. You said Spidey was after Black Panther. Come on.
But like, here's the thing, though. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Like, even when they release the Spider-Man stuff, it's not going to be the same as Insomniac.
No,
like, it's just not.
I guarantee you, the traversal is going to be more like a PS2 game, Spider-Man, where it's just swing and then let go, swing and let go. There's no aerial whatever.
There's no end. There's no like the Hulk can't run up walls in that game, but like he could in that PS2.
I love that one.
Right.
So so it's like Spider-Man's not gonna be able to crawl on walls. Like
if we all knew last fall or whenever it was when you heard about Spider-Man coming to Marvel's Avengers, there was all this discussion and even like heated debates about how it's Sony exclusive and how just messed up that is. Right. If we all knew, like, by the way, we're going to be hitting mid-year next year with still no word on the horizon of when this thing's going to arrive, everyone might have chilled out a little bit. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2 Hawkeyes first.
Yeah. See, everyone was so angry at first because that's what people do, but now no one actually even cares anymore. Yeah. So
they're like, oh yeah, that's coming out.
This is coming from somebody that's like, I like the DLC story stuff. After I finished the stories, which are like 3 or 4 hours long each character, which is actually a pretty good length. I'm done. I'm not gonna keep doing your end game bull crap.
Sure.
That's it. And they're actually pretty good stories. So I'm not going to crap on that too much, but it is funny the order of things that they chose to like. Let's do 2 Hawkeyes first.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're fun to play, but come on.
All right, what did Square show next? Because I know they showed a series of games that I got to be honest, in my memory, they all looked kind of the same. So I'm excited to get to those.
Hold on, I had it back up here. Yeah, so we finished the Marvel stuff, and then they we finally saw like a decent amount of Babylon's Fall. So that was that game that they had announced. I forget when, maybe 2 years ago.
That looked cool.
And it was just a CG trailer.
Developer, right? Platinum.
I don't know if it was just the because I got home and then I watched the it wasn't like the live stream version, so obviously it had concluded and I was watching it on YouTube. It looked fuzzy as hell to me, so like visually I was not impressed as far as the fidelity, but again, that could have just been like the recording. It just wasn't like the maximum Ks that I'm supposed to watch it, right, Derek? Not 1440p.
The Ps.
Not lame-o 2K.
Like it is from shoot, what can I
Platinum Games.
Platinum Games, thank you.
Yeah.
So the combat will most likely be fun because I mean, at the very least, with the games that they make, the combat is usually 9 times out of 10 like pretty excellent.
Yeah.
As far as like the world and the story and what's going on there, who knows? The characters visually looked interesting. But yeah, just the fidelity of the video was just like it was very muddled for me. So like I just wasn't getting a good impression of it, like a good grasp of whether it actually looked good or not. So maybe if they release a better quality video of that, I can watch that again and maybe my opinion will be different of it. But I just Yeah,
but are you concerned that now it's a live service game?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, no, I am for sure. Square just wants to hop on that bandwagon of something where they can kind of keep making more money. So
that makes me lose some interest in it, to be honest with you.
Yep, for sure.
I hear that.
So I don't know if this is going to be I don't know, it'll be free to play or not. I have a feeling Square will still charge for it.
No release date, right? So this is beta coming out soon, but no release date, I think.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, it says sign up for closed beta. I'm not seeing a release date here, so.
Yeah.
But then after that, Life is Strange updates. So they're doing the Life is Strange remastered collection.
I knew it. I knew Derek would say that.
Derek has no soul and no feelings, so of course he doesn't care about Life is Strange.
I'm actually excited for the remastered because I've only played through the series once since it came out.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like the remaster with what that dev is doing now and like how their games look and feel now, they feel way better to play.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that the performance must be better because when they did like the little pan over to show like this was before and this is now, I was like, can you do that one more time?
I think you'll notice it in the mechanics more than in the movement.
I just wasn't that impressed. Like
facials and stuff.
I think with the Life is Strange stuff, I'm kind of like I really enjoyed that first one. I couldn't get into the second season, and now I'm just kind of like, well, when I get into the mood to be lectured at, I'll probably play these games a little more.
I haven't even touched Life is Strange 2.
I'm just kidding. These games are entertaining.
But yeah, so they're remastering that, and
that's a big note.
Life is Strange True Colors, which we know what Derek's true colors are.
September 10th.
The jerk colors.
The jerk.
My colors are June.
So that one's coming.
Baby.
That one's coming out September 10th.
Yeah.
For anyone that's interested.
I'm interested. I like what they're doing with it visually.
Yeah, her power seems kind of like what I don't know. I think the power of the I don't remember her name from the first one was way more interesting because kind of altering time and time being warped around and stuff like that is way more interesting than empathy mechanic. Yeah, which is like seeing people's feelings.
Powers are in these games are almost never straightforward. Even like the time jumping, whatever. There were like certain circumstances.
Special ability is that she can see what people are feeling.
Yes.
She can read people's.
Get the fuck
out.
She's a she can read minds, but then there's another layer to it. Whatever.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Not a superpower Derek has, or if he does, he doesn't care.
Ow! Like,
listen, it's almost 1 o'clock, and Derek's got work tomorrow, and he's trying to get us to wrap this up, and we're talking about how video games special abilities are to see each other's feelings.
I'm so sorry. I mansplained you. I'm so sorry. And I hurt your little.
Can we just talk about this for another hour? Actually, I really want to dive deep into it.
No, I just want to get to the Origins game.
Okay, yeah. So this is what I'm super pissed about. So first of all, there was at the end they were like demo soon. The demo's out now, not soon. Today would have made way more sense. And the demo download is broken. It literally says the data is corrupted.
Okay, so you're not mad about the game being announced. You were just mad about the demo.
Well, so also the vibes of the game I wasn't totally feeling. First of all, the main character that you're playing, like the things he was saying when he was like defeating enemies was so dude bro. Like it just doesn't vibe with what Final Fantasy is at all. And especially like the fantasy. This is taking place in the Final Fantasy 1 world. Like the way he was talking just doesn't really make sense as far as like what a person would be speaking like in a game like this type of setting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So just like, yeah, there was something off about just the way he was talking. And again, also visually, it just was kind of muddled for me. And I don't know if, because at the bottom it said this is a game that's still being worked on. So I don't know if it's just the visuals aren't quite there yet. This could be still a couple of years away.
It looked to me from the outside looking in like a lesser version of Devil May Cry 5.
Right.
Even worse Like Devil May Cry 5 embraced their
the
cheesiness.
Yeah.
They doubled down on it, and it really worked for them, I thought. This seems to be like they don't know how cheesy it's sounding, and the character like that is just the vibe I got. And I'm with you. The visuals were like, hey, this is like if Devil May Cry 5 didn't look that good. That's just kind of what I thought. The
super anime looking dude that like has a couple lines in the trailer, I think kind of like clicked within what Final Fantasy is. Like it made sense for me, but there was just something about the like your character and just the lines he was saying as he was killing enemies that just bothered the hell out of me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, again, just visually it just looked very muddled and just kind of like not sharp. So, and the demo thing is just ridiculous. It's like, come on, like the demos, this needs to be working. I mean, maybe it's a Sony issue.
I thought it was odd to show a game that looked way worse than one they had shown earlier in the same show, and that's Babylon's Fall. Because I feel like there's a lot of similarities between like some of the aesthetics and the fighting, and then you see the Final Fantasy one. That should be like their big one. That to me looked like a much lesser version of what we just saw.
I mean, clearly that's not getting the budget that 7 Remake is getting. Obviously, so because 7 Remake is gorgeous, especially with this new upgrade. It looks fantastic. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. The demo is supposed to be working. They are accepting feedback. It's literally in the description. Like if you go to the PlayStation Store to download it, it literally has like dates of like when you can do surveys and stuff. Like they're really looking for feedback on this game. Kind of like with Neo 1 and 2. They had the demos and then you gave them feedback if you wanted to. They kind of really were like fishing for that. So I think they're kind of doing a similar thing with this game.
Are you just going to send feedback that says, I'm mad?
Yeah. Me, fanboy, angry.
I'm angry,
fanboy. But, the game's not out yet, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't.
Bummer. Apparently I was more into this conference than you.
I was more into it than you guys.
I expect more out of them because I'm such a fan. So, I'm more critical of Square because I've loved Final Fantasy for years.
Because you're try hard.
I thought
Daniel try hard.
Guardians and Babylon's Fall both have my attention. The rest of it, I was kind of like, it's fine. Yeah, whatever.
Guardians,
I don't care about like
Babylon, and Final Fantasy Origins all looked great.
Final Fantasy 16 not being there infuriates me.
They showed it in the sizzle reel. They showed it in the sizzle.
Tim, don't give me that.
I think it's smart not to show it because if they would have showed it and not shown you more than what they already shown, you'd be whining on here about
a release date.
If they didn't show me more than No, I obviously wanted them to show new stuff because I have the impression that it has potential to release this year. But now, having not shown anything at all, I don't think it is coming out this year. So,
it would probably be next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do need to wrap things up. We're at 2 hours 20 minutes almost. This
do we?
Oh god.
We do.
Can we talk about True Colors again?
No.
Yes.
I really
power.
feel strongly
Hear me out.
that I need to have Derek sympathize with me about my
Derek,
feelings.
if you touch me, you will see the environment change
This
to match
is the
my
best
move.
show I've had in months. You guys should be patting me on my because I stayed awake. I talked. And
If you
had almost an educated opinion.
So basically, you did the bare minimum, is what you're saying.
If each of you had to pick,
you're not getting more than bare minimum.
Each of you had to. You sound like you're drunk right now. I can barely understand you. If each of you had to pick one game that after the last couple of days you're like, yeah, this is the one I'm most excited for, whether you knew about it before the shows or not. Which one are you most excited for? I'll go first since I'm putting you on the spot for that. You know, there's a bunch that jump out at me. Honestly, it's close between like Mario plus Rabbids. I am very excited about. I can't wait for that one. I love it.
Pick a better game.
A great game. Shut up.
True Colors.
Man, I'm kind of not True Colors.
True Colors.
Okay, I'll talk since you can't.
I was gonna say Far Cry. I'm gonna say Far Cry 6. I'll stick with that one. Go ahead, Derek.
Okay, I like to pick a game that's coming out like this year. I know we could pick something in the future, but I like to keep it this year. So my two that are tied are definitely Guardians of the Galaxy and then Horizon 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those would be mine if we just kept it to this year, but out of all of them that were announced, Plague Tale's at the top.
Plague Tale.
Because I just didn't expect it, and I just loved that. I ended up loving that game so much.
Yeah, Elden Rings if we're going outside of 2021.
Okay. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna keep it within a year or whatever. Elden Ring, I think there's enough there where I'm like, oh, okay, this could be a different enough where I'm not like, oh, the Dark Souls formula. I'm tired of that. We'll see. And what the hell is it called? Which I think is a bad name. They should give it a way better name. Replaced.
Damn
just
it. Yes,
dude,
that's another good one. Yeah.
That just blew my mind. Like visually, that blew my mind. So yeah.
Is that Xbox only, or is that coming to everything?
I don't know.
It's Game Pass day one, but they didn't say. I don't know if they said console
if
exclusive.
if they don't say it's if they didn't say it's an exclusive, then it's not. Okay.
I'm trying to even figure out who made it.
Yeah, because again, replace is just like it's just a regular word, so it's like.
Yeah, when they showed the title, I was like, "Oh, that's it." Okay, but apparently the story is an AI takes over a human body, and that's who you play.
So it's a
like
it's a company called Sad Cat Studios, published by CodeSync. So I've never heard of it. It's on PC. It's on PC already.
Is it? No,
that can't be right.
Oh, no. It says launched. It'll be launched 2022.
Yeah. I'm wondering if whoever wrote this article wrote it wrong.
Yeah,
but it sounds like it's coming.
Xbox and Windows. Yeah,
it's just coming to Xbox and PC.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Why are they trying to force me to buy an Xbox?
Being a pony.
Why are they trying to force me to buy more machines?
Why are they trying to force me to save money by going to Game Pass?
Here's my challenge for Dan. I want you to go over the Xbox presser, figure out what games are coming on Game Pass that you would definitely buy or maybe buy, and then I want you to add up the cost, and I guarantee you could buy a Series S or a Series X. Guaranteed.
I want you to do something for me.
Just do what I said.
I want you to.
By the way, right now I look like Clark Kent. I look amazing right now, like right there.
You look like that monster's nuts.
Yeah, you're hanging right underneath his crotch right now. Is what you're doing.
Well, at least I'm Henry Cavill or whatever his name is.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
You don't look anything like Henry Cavill. You wish you looked like Henry Cavill.
Every time I see him, I think of you. That's totally true.
You are the man.
Oh, The Witcher. Is that show with Derek?
You are the Man of Steel, Derek.
Right now, in the lighting, guys, I look like.
It's really hard to compliment yourself.
In the lighting, guys. I need to get that audio clip just to play every once in a while. In the lighting, guys. All right, listen, this has been a fun episode. Thank you all for listening. Thank you guys for staying up late to chat. Jeff, thanks for joining us. And we'll talk to you next week about more games we're playing and more announcements that are yet to come, specifically from Nintendo and who knows who else. So have a great week, you guys. We'll see you.